Gyda sylwebeth Saesneg ar gael ar y botwm coch nawr, mae Sgorio nôl. English commentary is available on the red button for Sky Plus, Freeview or Virgin Media viewers. If you have a TiVo box or Sky Q box, please sign into settings and use the audio selection option. Any problems, please contact our viewers hotline. Joiwch y gêm.
Mae e wedi gwneud ei benderfyniad, a does neb yn gallu dadlau ag e.
Screwfix Sprint, yn noddi pêl-droed ar S4C.
Dechrau da, dyna mae pawb eisiau ddechrau'r tymor. A perfformiad da'n help hefyd yn y pwyntiau yw'r peth mwyaf pwysig. Gofynnwch i Aberystwyth. Tîm newydd a rheolwr newydd, ond yn gadael e-bus gyda tripwynt yn ddiogel wythnos diwetha. Yn y rheolwr newydd y Met Caerdydd hefyd. Sut maen nhw'n dechrau? Wel, dwi ennill am y tro cyntaf erioed yn ebyn Cei Conna. Mae'r pêl-droed ma'n hawdd gyfeillion. Mae'n gynnar, ond yn argoelin dda i'r clybiau 100%. A'r clybiau yna sy'n cwrdd yn Aberystwyth pnawn. Mae croeso i chi i Aberystwyth. Y tro cyntaf ni ddweud hynny tymor yma. Nid y tro cyntaf i ni ddweud croeso i Geredigion chwaith haf yma. A fel ni wedi profi'n barod, mae yna groeso cynnes yng Ngheredigion. Os yna groeso cynnes i'r rheolwyr newydd yma, Anthony Williams a Ryan Jenkins, gyda'i gilydd yn gryfach yn y Met. Sut byddwn nhw'n dopi yn erbyn i gilydd pnawn yma. Aberystwyth yn erbyn Met Caerdydd. Na'r gêm fyw i chi ar S4C. Croeso mawr ato ni. Braf Cobona. Croeso mawr i Sion Meredith. Dau broblem stani. Mae'r gwynt yn chwythu'n gwallt i bob man Sion, a ni wedi gwisgo fel ant yn dec.
Fe ges i'r memo. Wel, blawn o daps gwyn.
Na, dim to. Croeso. Beth am hon? Mae'n ddiddorol. Dau reolwr sy'n nabod i gilydd yn dda iawn fel hyfforddwyr. Ond faint o newid yw i bod yn reolwr?
Tipyn o newid i fod yn rheolwr. Dy ben di sy'n y boc. Ti sy'n goffo wneud y penderfyniad ar diwedd y dydd. Wrth gwrs, mae'n bwysig cael staff tu ôl ti sy'n mynd i ymgynghori ti. Ond fel wedes i, ar diwedd y dydd, dy benderfyniad di yw e, a mae fe gallu bod yn lle unig iawn.
Gweud bod y reolwr newydd ddim yn dweud llawer yn y gyngor yma tymor yma. 7 reolwr newydd. Dewch chi ni edrych ar y gemau sydd wedi digwydd hyd yn hyn penwythnos yma. Dyma'r gêm ola o'r penwythnos, a neithiwr Cei Conna yn ennill am y tro cyntaf tymor yma o colli yn ebyn Met yn ei gêm gyntaf. Mike Wild yn penio. Mae fe nôl ymysg y goliau. Dim sioc o gwbl fan yna. Tipyn y groesiad gan Aaron Williams hefyd. E-bus di colli 2 gêm gyntaf. A wedyn hon yn ddiddorol, Sion. Y Flint yn ennill yn Drenewydd o 2 gôl i ddim. Mae'r Flint nawr di ennill i 2 gêm agoriadol. Danny Harrison gath y gyntaf. Ond hefyd, o Cera Simmons yn creu'r gyntaf, yn cael yr ail sgorio i gêm gyntaf hefyd yn efo Pontypridd. Beth am hwn?
Ie, o beth dwi wedi gweld, dwi'n hoffi y ffordd mae'n chwarae pêl-droed. Mae'n uniongyrchol, mae'n gryf a mae'n gwybod lle mae'r gôl fel petai. Felly, dechreuad arbennig i Flint, ond neb yn disgwyl 6 pwynt o'r 2 gêm agoriadol.
Holford yn ennill yn ebyn Cynarfon ar penwythnos agoriadol. Jack Wilson yn cael y gyntaf yn y Bala. Bala di gwisgo i crysau oddi cartre, achos problemau o ran Kit Holford yn rhy debyg yn ôl y dyfarnwr a wedyn hon. Sion, beth am hon am wrth ymwysodiad gan y Bala. Fe gollon nhw ymhen y bont y gêm gyntaf. 8 munud i fynd, Oli Shannon yn sgorio. Pwynt 1, teimlo fel un pwysig i'r Bala.
Wel, mae pob pwynt yn bwysig yn y gyngor yma, mae mor anodd, ond fel ti'n gweud, oedd yna tipyn o gôl i silio'r pwynt iddyn nhw fe petai.
Cynarfon yn ennill o 2 gôl i ddim yn erbyn Pontypridd yn newydd ddyfodiad eraill. Sean Bradley a Joe Fow yn cael y ddwy o fewn munudau i gilydd yn yr ail hanner. Canodd yn gwylio Pontypridd nawr. Problemau yn barod fan hyn, Sean, chwarae 2, colli 2 heb sgorio gôl?
Wel, beth mae'n fe'n neud yw, mae fe'n rhoi pwysau yno ti. Enwedig pan ti'n tîm newydd i'r gyngor yma, ti eisiau canlyniad, ti eisiau ennill y gêm gyntaf. Dyna beth sy'n digwydd i'r lot o tîmau sy'n wedi dod lan. Enghraifft Cynarfon, fynd eithon nhw lan yn y gyngor, yn fegis nhw canlyniadau arbennig o dda, a mae hwnna'n rhoi momentum i tîm.
Yr un gêm chi ddim wedi gweld, tipyn o ganlyniad, y Seintiau newydd yn ennill y gôl i ddim yn ebyn Pen y Bont. Ryan Brobl yn yr eiliadau ola. Ddi'n ddisgwr, amser oedd yn cael ei ychwanegu ar y diwedd, Brobl yn taro, triffwynt i'r Seintiau Newydd, triffwynt cyntaf Craig Harrison ers dychwelyd. Mae yna batrwm yn datblygu, rheolwyr newydd gyda'r clybiau, 2 reolwr newydd yn y gêm yma rhwng Aberystwyth a Met Caerdydd, yn nabod ei gilydd mor dda. Nicky John sydd wedi bod yn siarad â nhw.
Well, Anthony, you got off to an excellent start last weekend away at Aberystwyth, and I'm sure you'll be keen to carry that on home turf today.
Yeah, it's always a difficult one, first game of the season, just judge where you are. You have pre-season games, but it's not the same as a competitive fixture. Obviously, we got a home game today and against a team which I probably know better probably than my team, if I'm honest with you.
I'm mynd i cymryd pob wythnos yn ei tro, pob tîm yn ei tro. Wythnos diwetha oedd y perfformiad gan pob un person yn wych. Wythnos hyn ni'n ceisio wneud yr un peth.
We played these pre-season as well, so we know that it was a close game as well pre-season against them. I see them being probably, you made the top half, pretty much same as us. I think we both think of the same ambition as being the top 6 and then see where we are from there.
Mae sylfaen gyda'r clwb, sylfaen cadarn iawn, a mae cyfle dy fi ysgrifennu sort of penod newydd yn y clwb. Mae'r un fath o boys dyn ni wedi newid ambell un, mae cwpl o boys ifanc newydd, dyn ni wedi ffreshen a cwpl o pethau lan, y ffordd ni'n neud ambell i peth, ond mae'r egwyddorion i gyd yna, a dyna sut mae'r clwb yma wedi bodoli, a dyma'r ffordd mae'n mynd i symud ymlaen hefyd, trwy egwyddorion gryf, a gwerthoedd craidd gryf, a ewn ni ymlaen o fyna.
Ryan, diolch o galon.
Diolch.
Wel, os yw'r chwaraewyr yn chwarae cystal am y rheolwr yn siarad, byddwn nhw'n iawn tymor a fynd i credu. Met, newidiadau, ond dwi'n effeithio nhw gymaint o hynny. Le mae Aberystwyth, mae hanner y tîm di mynd, chwaraewyr gorau di mynd hefyd, rheolwr newydd hefyd wedi dod mewn. Faint o job sydd da Anthony Williams fan hyn, Sion?
Wel, mae fi dod o chwaraewyr yn y marn ni sydd yn gystadleuol yn y gyngor yma. Falle un iddo chwaraewr sydd wedi chwarae yn cyngor i is, ond wedi bod yn tîm y cyngrair ar diwedd y tymor.
Golgeidwad yn diddorol hefyd, ar fenthyg o Abertawe, enghraifft arall o clwb o'r gyngrair yn danfon i chwaraewyr i'r gyngor yma. Lewis Webb, gath e ddechrau da yn Ebers, felly maen nhw wedi colli chwaraewyr, ond
Ie, a mae fel lan i'r chwaraewyr sydd wedi dod mewn i ddangos i'r rheolwr be maen nhw'n gallu gwneud. Y gol geidfad fel wedes ti yn erbyn Ebers fe oedd ser yn y gêm ac yn ei 5 penwythnos yn ystod wythnos diwetha. Felly mater o dengys yw i weld beth ddaw o Aberystwyth yn ystod y tymor. Bydd e'n gret gweld nhw yn y 6 illa yn lle bod ar y gwyliodon yn brwydro am y brwysion.
Dyna'r patrwm dros y tymorau diwetha. Fi'n gwybod nes nhw orffen yn weddol diwedd tymor diwetha, ond brwydr i aros yn y gyngrair wedi bod. A pan chi'n gweld pwy maen nhw wedi colli, unrhyw beth yn mynd i fod yn wahanol tymor yma?
Wel, fel wedes i, amser y dengys. Mae yna newidiadau wedi bod yn y clwb ac wrth gwrs o ran y tîm reoli. Canlyniad da gyda'r wythnos diwetha. O'r momentum, dyn ni siarad bod ti hwnna lot yn y gyngrair. Os allan nhw rhoi rhediad at ei gilydd, yna mae'n o siawns. A mae un rhediad i gwneud gymaint o waniaeth yn y gyngrair yma, fel ni wedi sôn. Y gic gyntaf yn agosau fan hyn yn Aberystwyth. Gêm fyw i chi ar S4C ar nos Sadwrn. Dewch nôl ato ni ar gyfer y gic gyntaf.
Screwfix Sprint, yn noddi pêl-droed ar S4C.
Ti di dod ar bibs?
Screwfix Sprint, yn noddi pêl-droed ar S4C.
Croeso nôl ato ni yn bnawn di Sadwrn braf iawn yn Aberystwyth, Costa del Ceredigion fan hyn, Met Caerdydd di teithio yma o'r brif ddinas. Y gic yn agosau, Sion Meredith sy'n cadw cwmni fi yn gynchwreiwr gyda Aberystwyth a Cherfyrddin hefyd. A ddim holi sut ti'n gweld hon yn mynd, ond diddorol yn barod, mae dim ond Flint sydd wedi ennill i 2 gêm agoriadol, gallai un o'r rhain ymuno gyda nhw. Mae'n gynnar, ond fain o help bydde hynny.
Wel, ie, mae rhywbeth i anelu ato, yna fe. Sneb yn disgwyl canlyniadau mae'r Flint wedi cael, ond ie, fydd y ddoi tîm yn edrych i ennill y gêm. Fi'n credu fydd Met Caerdydd yn fwy agor yn ei chwarae nhw. Falle'n trio chwarae o'r cefn bach yn fwy. Felly, anodd gweud pwy sy'n mynd i mynd ai. Ddoi tîm, y ddoi rheolwr yn Aber i tîm e mor dda, felly 0-0.
Dyna ni. Ni'n gobeithio ddim. Gewn ni weld. Dewch i ni fynd draw at ein tîm sylwebu. Ein tîmau sylwebu, dylen i ddweud, ar y bottom coch yn Saesneg gyda Mark Jones. Christian Edwards, Mr Met Caerdydd tan yn ddiweddar. Nawr yn gwylio, fel athro yn gwylio ei ddisgyblion o bosib debyg iawn i berthynas y ddau yma. Nick Parry a Malcolm Allen. Dwi'n yn siŵr pa un yw'r athro, cofiwch yn y berthynas yma. Draw ni atyn nhw, Malcolm Allen a Nick Parry.
Good afternoon and welcome to Park Avenue in Aberystwyth, where the Seasiders entertain Cardiff Met University. 2 opening weekend wins mean today's opponents both have the chance of being joint top with Flint after this 90 minutes, which should give us both teams the encouragement to play attacking brand of football. Alongside me this afternoon is Dr. Christian Edwards, ex-Cardiff Met manager, who knows plenty about these two teams, and it's a pleasure to have you on the red button this afternoon. Welcome, Christian.
Good afternoon, Jonah, and everybody out there. Hope you have a good afternoon watching the two teams today.
Very, very blustery Park Avenue, Chris.
Yeah,
here are the teams up for this afternoon's game. I think Lewis Webb had an absolute blinder, didn't he, last week for Aber at
Aberystwyth, yeah, last week. Played very well. I watched Lewis as a 17-year-old when he was playing for Meredith, and a very, very good goalkeeper.
And got the goals for Met last week.
Lewis Rees and Sam Jones last week. So yeah, both nines doing very well for Ryan in the early stages.
And both plenty of promise in both these sides here today, especially the Met, the young age, the ages we spoke about. We talked about yesterday, 24 and 22 the average ages.
Absolutely, yeah. Cardiff Met 22 average age. You know, they're a young squad, but they've got lots of experience in the Welsh Premier League, which is really important. The Aber squad assembled by Anthony is a good squad, but probably young in age when it comes to experience in the Welsh Premier League.
But that's a great thing. I know there's plenty of youth out there, but to be able to, I know it's only the second game of the season, Chris, but to go top of the league after 2 games, what a great start. Like Fowler at Flint so far.
Yeah, absolutely. The players work hard and the managers work hard in pre-season, and they want to make sure that when the season starts, all that good work comes to fruition. And a good win today for either team will put them to the top of the league.
And it's never too early, Chris, to go top of the league.
It's always nice to go early doors. It's that hard work that's come out in the pre-season, and for both managers today, they'll want that early win.
Aber, of course, in their customary green and black stripes, and Cardiff Met in their customary maroon, would you call it?
It is maroon, gold and blue. Yeah, very proud the players are to wear those colours of the university.
Maroon, gold and blue. Key men this afternoon for you, Christian?
I think Matt Chubb on the right for Cardiff Met. He's come a long way in a short space of time at Cardiff Met, but he'll be valuable for them. Harry Owen for Cardiff Met, Tom Price, the usual, Emlyn Lewis. But I think also for Aberystwyth, their back line will be really important for them today, along with their goalkeeper.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. Both goalkeepers and centre-backs. Blustery conditions like this, you played as a centre-half 300 plus times in the Football League. They're key on days like today, the big men at the back.
Yeah, absolutely. These type of conditions are horrendous for both sets of players. And whoever deals with that this afternoon will probably come out on top.
And as we were talking about that then, Emlyn Lewis heads the ball 40 yards in the first 5 seconds. I think that'll show you. Goalkeeper, he won't want too many of them with this win, them back passes. Tom Price getting tight there on Niall Flint. CJ Craven trying to add some pace to the game. Sam Jones in space. Jones cut the cross, shots off as many times as you can. The golden rule. Elliot Evans Evans with usually with flair. I don't think you'd be happy with that back heel, just would you?
No, there's no need to do that for Elliott there. They're in control of possession, and he's given the ball away far too cheaply for me. I think that ball there from Emlyn as well. Any straight balls in this weather today is going to be problematic. They're going to run through to the goalkeeper, so the balls need to be diagonal today to keep the ball on the island.
Chubb there with a long throw. You're up against it if you're Aber, I think, in this half against the wind, and straight away, even with 14 minutes of this first half to go, I think with 8 to get in at half time, Anthony Williams will be pleased.
Yeah, Taff will be pleased with that. He'll be defending the wind this first half, and if he can get to half time level or indeed in front, he'll be really, really pleased.
Carl McCarthy there getting inside. He likes a goal on television. I think goal of the season last year, Carl McCarthy. Yeah,
fantastic goal down at Haverfordwest. But Kyle's the jewel in the crowd at Cardiff Met. He's a fantastic player. He can play in most positions, and probably, in my opinion, one of the most undervalued players in the Welsh Premier League.
Yeah, he's been around. A lot of your team and the Cardiff Met team, by the way, Ryan's team now, they got hundreds of games under their belt, and like you said, at an average age as young as it is, they're just a good side, and if they could keep the 11, that's most probably been the hardest part of your job and the new manager's job. Squads.
Yeah, it will be. You look at Ryan's team. It's the starting 11 is a top 6 starting 11 in my opinion. It's his bench. They've got a blend there of some older players and younger players, and the young Dixon Cabango on the bench. I think he's going to be a real asset to Cardiff Met.
No doubt. I think Anthony Jenkins will just say to Anthony Williams will just say to his team, just drop off deep. You can tell in front of us the systems they're playing. I think they're both playing the diamond. We spoke about it at the start.
Yeah, Taff's very experienced. Taff, I think people forget, has been an assistant manager in the Football League at Crawley, at Portsmouth. He's got a vast amount of experience. Ryan probably less of the experience, but they're both good tactical coaches. Have worked, obviously, as everyone knows, with them for 6-7 years, and it'll be a real battle out there today. It'll be a thing of wits. Taff does know the Cardiff Met team very, very well. He's worked with those players, so yeah, it'll be an interesting afternoon.
Bound to. Sensible approach as well from the young goalkeeper, Lewis Webb. Just taking his time. Blustery wind against, there won't be no rush there. Webb drives it long. John Owen pulls away this time, and he sent that's a tactical move already. John Owen will come out to the wing to get the headers. Alex Darlington will go in and try and stand on Emlyn Lewis's toes.
Yeah, absolutely. What Aber need to do in the first half, or particularly the whole game, is keep the ball away from Emlyn Lewis. He'll head it back with distance. So they'll need to pull out onto the wide areas, onto CJ Craven, onto Cal McCarthy, who's not the tallest, and see if they can get some advantage that way.
Looking at Alex Darlington's goal record there. Yeah, he was at 33 now, to Alex, and he was at TNS for a few years, but it's still a great goal record.
Absolutely, yeah.
One per 2 games.
Yeah, wherever Alex has been, he's done very, very well, and he'll be a thorn in the side today. He finds little pockets that become difficult to mark, and he makes it very uncomfortable for the opposition.
Price clears. Lewis Rees is on the chase. Runs through. There's that straight ball you talked about again already. Have to be diagonals today, otherwise the goalkeepers will be picking up a lot of wasteful balls this afternoon. Chubb just gets a shove in the back there. Referee Hugh Jones just has cooled down a little bit. Lang gets it off to McCarthy. McCarthy inside the Chris Baker, another stalwart. Sam Jones's run is a decent run. Might have just strayed offside, but it flows out.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. So the ball there diagonal in behind the Aber defence. It hasn't run through for a goal kick. It's now a throw into Aberystwyth, but Cardiff Met can box them in. See if they can win the ball back up high and start playing around the 18-yard box. And so there's the beauty of that cross-field ball rather than the straight ball.
Type of afternoon as well, Chris. With our any game of football at any level. Shots, you have to get shots off with the wind at your back like this today.
Absolutely, it's one of the frustrating things for me. You're given the advantage of the wind, so why don't you take a shot from distance? And the keeper saves it, he puts it out for a corner, and you get another opportunity. But yeah, in and around that 18-yard box, the Cardiff Met, particularly in the first half, need to be shooting and making themselves work the keeper.
Harry Horwood to take the throw, and an ex-Cardiff Met player.
Yeah, we had Harry for a few years. He left us to go off to Penryn Cork, and has got ability. Harry, really nice left foot. Maybe lacks a little bit of experience, but he's only going to get that by playing regular games in the Welsh Premier League.
And few scores from this afternoon. Carnarvon getting a good 2-0 win against Pontypridd. Valor 1-1 with Harvey West. It's a great away point. TNS scoring in the 90th minute against a very unlucky Penabont.
Yeah, watched Penabont last week against Ballot, and very impressive. I think what Reese has managed to do this season, he's got depth to his squad. If there was any criticism of this squad,
great ball in by Price. Sorry to cut the cross through there, Chris, but that was a superb ball in by Price. That's the type of ball we were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got to get that ball and beat the first defender. Once they've beat the first defender, then they've got to get runners across the near post, across the goalkeeper at the far post. But it's a very good ball by Tom Price there.
Tom, we brought Tom. We did bring him into the squad last year, into the Wales C squad, and he is a great addition to Cardiff Met in that centre midfield.
Yeah, he is. Unfortunately for Tom, he's probably playing in his wrong position at the moment as a holding midfielder. Of course, Charlie Colesby's out until after Christmas, so Tom's fitted in at the base of that diamond, but really probably Tom's best position is further forward, and he makes those runs in behind the opposition's defence, and he's tireless in what he does. He's got good quality, he's got a good engine, and a really mature head on some young shoulders.
Like a young Chris Baker starting all over again, maybe with a little bit more technique about it.
Yeah, Chris is agricultural, but he's fantastic. What Chris gives you is incredible energy, and is a good leader.
Craven, that's another decent ball in, headed away. Chance for Elliot Evans. He's put many volleys away like that over the past few seasons.
Yeah, you'd expect Elliot to do better there. He's on the edge of the box, needs to just calm himself down a little bit, and make work the keeper. At the minute, Cardiff Met's possession haven't really worked to the keeper at all.
Is that cross for Craven? It's a decent ball in from Craven. It gets knocked out, and like we said, it sets up well for Elliot there.
Yep, absolutely. What's important there, you've got Chris Baker playing at the top of the diamond. Chris will make those runs in behind, and you see him there in the box. He's 6'3", Chris, so he should be getting the end of those balls that come into the box.
Again, the kick out from Lewis. Well, a Wales under 21 goalkeeper, by the way, on loan from Swansea. Didn't expect this blustery this afternoon, Chris. I suppose on view you
no, that's
not showing. Oh, chance, Sam Jones must score. Oh, great finish, Sam Jones. It's a dreadful mistake at the back from Aberystwyth, but he was as cool as you like there, Sam Jones. Great through ball, takes his chance, and it's a 1-0 to Cardiff Met. Sam Jones opened the score in the Park Avenue.
That's a great finish by Sam. Sam's been around for a long time. He's a young kid coming on off the block at Canberra and Cardiff. We brought him in at the end of last season, and he scored a few goals for us, and he started the season again with a goal. But it's a well-timed run, a great ball.
Ball from Price was brilliant. Finish from Jones is perfect.
Yeah, and that's the quality that Tom will give you at the bottom of that diamond. He's got a great passing ability, and he's found Sam, and it's a well-timed run by Sam to find himself high up the pitch and to slot that home.
One of the questions I posed, chance again here. Chance again. Jones is in, looking for his second already. Harry Owen. They're under pressure here, Aber. Big pressure early on in the game.
Yeah, this is where they need their two centre-halves, their captain and Jack Thorne, just to settle the ship a little bit and make sure that after conceding that they just really calm themselves down and play themselves back into the game.
And Christian, on the other hand, Cardiff Met smelling a bit of blood here early on.
Yeah, it's again, as I said, it's important. Cardiff Met have got the win. They've got to make sure that they use that to their advantage. So these corners now are really, really important. Can they work the defence? Can they set something up?
Great ball in. It could be in. Just over the top from Elliot Evans.
Yeah, disappointed. I think again, it looks like a shot, but that's a cross into the box, and Els has got to have better quality there for the big lads, Emlyn, Matt Chubb, to be attacking that ball.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Chris. If I'm the manager there, you practice in the week and on short corners and things like that. I want that curled in under that post. You've just scored. You've got a 50 or 60 mile an hour wind against you. I want to test that goalkeeper.
I agree with you. And the young keeper from Swans, he's come into the league for a reason. He's playing academy football. He's not going to have the type of balls into the box that they're going to come in today. So why not disappoint? Put that ball on top of him and threaten him. Have Emlyn Lewis run at him. Have Matt Chubb at him, and he'll soon realise that he's in the World Premier League.
And somebody like Elliot Evans can put that on, on the spot for him.
Yeah, you'd expect that to happen.
Price again started the game well. Like you said in your holding role, Lewis, will he go back or forward? You're waiting for the goalkeeper. Comes and collects well in the end.
And similarly, that's what you're going to get, today with a win so blustery. It'll hold up the other end for the Cardiff Met defenders, which causes them a problem because the indecision between them and the goalkeeper.
Chubb fires it across.
two centre halves at Aber just need to calm themselves down.
Absolutely.
They're swinging away at things there. Just relax, keep a talk to them.
Do you know what, Chris? I would even contemplate, right, if I was Anthony Williams at the moment, the way they just look a bit loose there, of dropping one in the holding midfielders in maybe to make it a 3 for the next 10 minutes. Who's going down there?
Emlyn Lewis is down. He's taken a knock with that ball in the box. Exactly what I was saying. The ball holds up. It causes a problem, and Emlyn's got an injury from that.
Well, one thing, they definitely wouldn't want to lose Emlyn Lewis as early as this afternoon. No,
they wouldn't. Emlyn's pivotal for Cardiff Met. You lose him, Alaric Jones can come on. Alaric into the back four, a little bit unbalanced then. Two left-footed centre halves doesn't always work great. Opportunities maybe to bring Matt Chubb in there, but yeah, it wouldn't be great for Cardiff Met if Emlyn Lewis was to go off at this point.
Not the type of character you want to go off at all, and he's not the type of character who goes down. In your time as a manager, here's a goal, by the way. Let's don't underrate this ball, this through ball here. Picks his head up, great through. The weight was perfect. Should have been taken out, by the way.
Yeah, it should be. The centre half should be stopping that. But again, we spoke about that ball. It's ironic. It is a straighter pass, but it's got there because it has quality. The weight of pass is really important. And again, I think people are forgetting about the timing of run from Sam. It was a very well timed run for Tom to find him.
Lewis is leaving the field at the moment. It's a hip injury by the look of it. The big man, he looks troubled there, by the way. But I think keen to come back on.
Yeah, that'll be more pivotal in the second half of Cardiff Met playing against the wind. They'll want the big lad, on the pitch.
Chubb takes a quick free kick to Elliot Evans. Foul throw.
That's disappointing. Yeah, disappointing. Matt can throw that 30-40 yards. So for me, that again, put that on top of the goalkeeper to put him under some pressure.
Forward to take the throw. Again, Aber just looking to edge their way upfield. The Met keen to keep them penned in. A win this afternoon would put the Met top of the league. Lang. See, Alex Darlington is not pressing at all. They're just dropping off Aber, so there's no pressure being put on the two central defenders at all.
That ball around the back from Cardiff Met has got to be quicker. There's no point in this being slow. Emlyn Lewis, there you go. Here's your diagonal ball, which is the ball that they need to be hitting today. And Chris Baker
gets a shot off. Baker just wide of the target. You said he was playing at the front of the diamond and he looked to pick up seconds.
But the important thing there, that Chris has recognised that Emlyn's diagonal ball, even if the Aberystwyth defender wins the header, Chris has got to be there to pick up the seconds, and he's done that, and he's managed to get a shot off.
Sam Jones is definitely troubling the two centre-backs. They've gone a bit narrower now on the kick. Litchfield, Sam Litchfield and Ben Eriksson, they need to get a little bit stronger, put a bit more pressure. They're off again. Chubb, Price, the hub in midfield, getting on most things at the moment. Elliot Evans looks for Reese. Two footballing nines, by the way, you've got up there at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. But both industrious, both good quality on the ball. The Lewis Reese that came to Cardiff Met 2 seasons ago, if he can rediscover that form, he'll be a huge bonus for Cardiff Met.
He gets a shot off, there's a little bit again there.
Yeah, that just shows the indecision, and the young keeper's new to that back line, and the communication's not quite there at the moment. But Jack Thorne, experienced campaigner, he can help his back line. Just calm down.
I think that the likes of Jack Thorne needs to just drop in there now, like you say, and help out. They're narrow at the moment. If they were to get, I think that Anthony Williams could get to half time at 1-0. I think he'd take it with this wind being as blustery and as strong as it is. But the Met are playing some nice stuff, by the way.
Yep, absolutely. They're going to try and break lines at times. They're going to go long and Aber to drop off, and then they can break the lines by playing those passes into the outside of the diamond.
And looking at the two teams, Chris, when the second half does arrive, there's a lot of pace in our Met front line for playing against the wind, by the way.
Absolutely. That's the type of, it'll be a different type of ball then second half of Cardiff Met. It'll be a slide pass more than one that's launched up the pitch.
Anthony Jenkins, Taff, as it says on his chest.
Just a reminder, it's Anthony Williams, Taff.
You are right. There's so many names involved here. That's what you get when you call him Taff for the last 10 years, Chris. Corner, first corner of the afternoon for Aber. John Owen will be the main target from the cross.
Yeah, this will be interesting. This, a lot of criticism about Alex Lang and his lack of height, but having worked with Alex over the years, he's very dominant in that area, and he's fine under the high ball. But Taff speaks highly of Alex, so it'll be interesting to see how they try and work around Alex today with these set plays.
I'm amazed that nobody even stood on his toes at all, and it goes right to the far post, and Emlyn Lewis won't worry too much about that all day. He'll go 10 yards away from goal with John Owen, and he'll fancy his chances there. Good duel, mind, that'll be.
It will be, yeah. Two big lads fighting it out, but the quality of the ball in the box has got to be better for John Owen to stand any chance of causing Emlyn a problem.
Baker in midfield. Owen Rees almost in behind Litchfield this time. Thorne needs to get on the ball in midfield. It's well closed down by Harry Owen. Good work rate by Owen. If you can add that to his game, Harry Owen, he said technically he's a wonderful player.
Yeah, Harry, he's been very unfortunate over the years, Harry, with injuries, but he's managed to get over that. Last year he probably had 25-30 games, which is fantastic for him, and if he can build upon that this year, Ryan's got a really good player on his hands.
Just creeping into this game a little bit at the moment, but the last 3 or 4 minutes it was all Met first 14 minutes, but they just starting to get their foot on it, and this man is key to all afternoon.
What's really important for both teams here today is that how they position themselves without the ball. Both teams are going to want to go forward. At times you just saw there Cardiff Met are eager to go forward. However, Aberystwyth win the first ball, second ball they're not positioned properly, and Aber pick up the ball and look to break.
Litchfield goes back to his goalkeeper. It's a great strike from Webb, by the way. Lewis bumps into Alex Darlington in the centre of the midfield. Elliot Evans heads on. Rimmer, Price with a shove in the back. Referee says no shove. McCarthy. It's a great touch from McCarthy, gets it wide to Craven. Craven is starting to settle in at your club now as a regular left back. Yeah,
he's done really well, CJ. He came from TNS with a bit of an expectation. I think he probably thought it would be easier to get into the Cardiff Met team than he did, and he found himself not on the team initially, but he had a good solid season last year. The thing with CJ, he does at times get a little bit carried away with himself. However, you can't fault some of the performances he put in, and particularly last year at Colwyn Bay away.
Definitely. Rees driving into where there were too many green shirts. Ball would be impressed by Elliot Evans. Gets it clear. Lewis. It's a real up and under there from Emlyn Lewis. Baker again gets there first in midfield. He picks up them loose balls really well. Notice that about Baker. Obviously you know more about them than anybody, but very industrious.
Yeah, Chris, again, a young lad we brought in from Aberystwyth many years ago. But what Chris gives you, is real energy and getting forward.
Chance here, breaks on. Owen Lewis. That's tremendous defending there from Emlyn Lewis. Look, you don't usually see 6'6" centre. Oh, chance anyway. Jones. It's a bit of a dive for me, that.
Yeah, nothing in that for me. I just think the Aberystwyth centre half is really unsure at the moment how to play up against Sam. Sam's going short and a ball in behind, and Sam's got the pace to get in behind, so he's having a bit of a difficult afternoon at the moment.
Yeah, that's why I would have definitely, I think, maybe gone to a 3. Just have that escape player there at the moment just to get through these dodgy periods for him. Evans is seeing a lot of the ball out wide right. Plenty of room on that side.
Yeah, with Cardiff Met playing with that diamond, they're going to lack width at times because of the natural shape of that they're playing.
Evans pulls it across,
but they'll get the width then from Matchup playing high and wide. So, and they need to use that to their advantage and expose Aberystwyth.
No, not for me at all. It's just laid a glove on him, as they say.
That's come from the Cam Bryan School of Drama, that has.
So you're not taking the blame for that one then? I can't wait to tell Scott Young that one. True, by the way, I think this afternoon, Canberra and Clydach 3-3 at Cwmbran Celtic.
Yeah, they've had a good start to the season, and they're a quality club. I remember a few seasons ago playing against in the final, and they're a very well-run club, so hopefully they'll have a good season again.
I'll tell you what, Chris, by the way, and just to keep the viewers informed, some big clubs in that Cymru South this season.
Yeah, there is. I mean, we've seen the starts the clubs have had, and yeah, it's getting harder and harder, that league below, to get out of, because the quality of clubs that are down there, and teams are prepared to spend money these days to get to what people see as the promised land of the Welsh Premier League.
If you'd have told me you get the likes of Carmarthen, Barry, Llanelli in that league, crazy.
It is. It's the nature of the league. The football in Wales,
they don't stand still.
Yep, you stand still. Your words become diluted, and you do stand still. You've got to be really ever changing and moving quickly in the Welsh Premier League. And we're seeing, less unfancied clubs coming into the league these days.
Rally fans tomorrow morning on S4C. And S4C click. Power stage from the Belgium rally, so all fans get up nice and early tomorrow morning. Are you a rally fan, Chris?
Not really, no. Although our drive today was an interesting one.
Through beautiful Wales.
I think an interesting tactical switch out from today with Ryan. He's got Harry Owen playing the left of the dime with Chris Play at the top. Usually Harry will play at the top, so it's an interesting one that he's done that, but he will get the width from Harry pulling wide, who's naturally a left winger.
Well, he set a wonderful goal up last week going against Connah's Quay Nomads. That was one of the shocks of the opening day, their 2-0 victory over Connah's Quay Nomads, who won last night 1-0.
I think you can tell the type of player Harry Owen is. I was at the TNS against Connah's Quay MG Cup game, and Andy Morrison was there, and he was speaking about Harry Owen. So when you got the likes of Andy Morrison speaking about Harry Owen in the way he was, Harry is a player that's respected within the league, and rightly so, because he is a very, very good player.
Loads of quality.
Yes, he has. And probably at times Harry's biggest weakness is he does travel with the ball too often and takes too many touches. If he can get that out of his game, he will become that more polished article.
Yeah, maybe he needs to play with a demanding 9 who wants the ball put in a bit earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lewis isn't a demanding 9, but he's a different type of 9 to that. But certainly can do that if he can find those pockets, and if we can get that, if Cardiff Met can get that ball into him early in those pockets, be able to turn and be able to play in the front too.
That's a tremendous run out of defence from Litchfield. That's the type of spirit Aberystwyth would be looking for to get back into this game. And to be fair to him, since the goal's gone in, goalkeeper hasn't really been tested. I expected a little bit of an onslaught from the Met.
They've steadied the ship a little bit, but I still think there's a little bit of indecisiveness in that back line. That could cause them a problem. Over the years, Jack Thorne's throw has caused Cardiff Met a problem. It's not the longest of throws, but it's more loopy as such, and it's caused, over the years, it has caused a problem.
Well, there's John Owen in there at present, asking for it to be delivered. 6'3" John Owen. Harry Owen doing the job to stand in front of him, and CJ Craven marking him. Has to go in now. Put clear by Rees. Tom Price having a good battle there in midfield. Jones, Evans, Chubb. Love their passing game. Love their passing game across the back. Invented by a certain person. On the break, Charlie Edge.
I think that the passing game's okay, but as long as it's got purpose and speed. If it's slowed down, then the opposition can get back into shape. And that ball there by Emlyn, I think that's a ball that needs to go to Tom Price to begin with.
We'll look on the replay. We're keeping an eye on Chris Baker for handball.
No, off his head.
Well, I shall make a verdict on that. I think that might have been a bit early verdict from the VAR called Edwards. 50-50 for me.
Not for me. Chris has got his head down there, and he's come off the side of his head.
I reckon if he'd have caught you, you'd have said that, Chris.
No, he's a good lad, Chris. He had a tough season last year. He was coming to the end of his PhD. I know that was a big concern for him, but he's finished his PhD now. He's Dr. Baker, and it looks like he's got that weight off his shoulders that he no longer has to worry about the PhD. And his form in pre-season has been very, very good, and it showed at the start of the season as well.
Referee's gone over to the dugout there of Cardiff Met, and Ryan Jenkins asking what was the problem. Free kick. In it goes from Edge. Great ball in. Right across the front. The out ball. Rimmer gets there. Breaks on. What a ball that is. If Elliot Evans can get there. Edge track back well and gets it back to the goalkeeper.
Elliot wasn't blessed with pace, and you could see that there. Just I think he could do a little bit better though, Elliot. He's kind of half-hearted there for me.
McCarthy. Little bit unlucky there, McCarthy. He wanted to win the header. He got that. He just laid a glove on Darlington.
I don't see that as a foul.
No,
I
neither did I.
I think Kyle's got his eye on the ball. He's looking to win the header. He's won it. And okay, Darlington's gone down quite heavily there, but for me, that's not a foul.
But they've settled. There's 25 minutes on the clock now, and definitely the Aberystwyth manager will be the happier of the two. The last 15 minutes at least. Rimmer. Chubb was battling in there with Litchfield. There's that long ball again. Too straight, as you said at the beginning. If you're going to go long on a day like today with a 15-mile-an-hour wind behind you, it's got to be diag, Chris.
Yeah, I think that's more of a clearance there from the Cardiff Met defender, and it's just more of a hopeful ball up the pitch. But this is where they've got to play that ball quickly. You've got the ball, Tom on the ball there, which is really important. They again finding the pockets. Okay, there's a bit of lack of communication there, but that's what Cardiff Met have got to try and do. Get Tom onto the ball, but it's got to be a quick pass, an early pass. Tom playing inside on to try and break lines.
I think the surprise team, as we said, stand in the Cymru Premier. Really surprising to see Flint at the top.
It's only a surprise because of the summer they had. They lost their manager.
Yeah.
They lost a raft of players, and you didn't really see any hope for them at one stage. But Lee Fowler's come in. He's brought my mate Ewan Williams in with him alongside him, and they've had a fantastic start of the season.
See the lad Simmons scored a goal again last night. I was very impressed with him at Pontypridd last week. He looks a handful.
Yeah, he does. He looks a real threat. The header he's missed inside the first 10 minutes last week really should do better with. But yeah, he's a handful, and Flint will do well to keep hold of him.
Definitely, there'll be clubs looking at him already. Thorne, use that long through you were talking about. Thorne fires it in. It's headed away by Baker. Craven heads it away. Evans, almost to Rees.
One of the things we used to speak about at Cardiff Met was that at times Aberystwyth have the ability to drag you down and play unfashionable football, and it seems to have happened again today. Cardiff Met started off very, very brightly, and all of a sudden it's become a bit of a scrappy match, which I think Aber would prefer over Cardiff Met.
Fair point.
I think the 2 nines are also at Cardiff Met are playing too narrow. They don't need to play a bit wider, otherwise with them playing so narrow, the ball into them is going to be a lot more difficult.
Yeah, they've most probably gone in there, like you said, because they've seen the uncertainty of the two centre-halves at the beginning, but they've settled a bit more now. Owen on the ball. Lewis Rees. Litchfield peeled away then and should have got their first chance. Oh, what a goal! What a delivery! You talk about closing down crosses. Nobody closed the cross down. The finish from Jones was magnificent. What a goal that is. It's 2-0 to Cardiff Met, and Sam Jones has a brace.
Absolutely. That's a great ball from Lewis. He's beat the first man. He's put it in that zone where the goalkeeper can't come for it, and it's a great, again, timed run from Sam Jones. Got across it in front of his man, in front of the goalkeeper, and just guided it home. It's a great finish.
I can understand here why, when it does go wide, the centre-back peels off. And if you get somebody, like you said, he was at TNS as a lad, right? What quality he has, Chris, with that left foot. He's going to put it in there.
Yeah, Lewis's left foot, it's unquestionable. He's got a fantastic left foot, and he's shown that there. It's a great ball into the box, but again, I just think the time of the run from Sam is outstanding.
Ryan Jenkins there in the dugout. I hope he's going to be a bit happier than the last Cardiff Met manager when they score goals.
Yeah, that guy, he was always grumpy. It's just the way he was brought up. Ryan will be happy now. He's got that second goal, which is what he wanted to go into the half time. I still think there's lots of things that Ryan can speak about.
Owen. Tell you what, you may get a bit of credit for, and Ryan, by the way. Sam Jones went out to the likes of Barry and played on the wing, played for Canberra on the wing. He is showing there, right? You just don't develop that. That is a striker's movement when he scored that goal. That's a great goal.
Well, I think not many people will know Ryan, young striker. Ryan broke Michael Rowan's Welsh goal scoring record as a kid, so he knows what it's like to play up front. He was that type of player, quick, sharp, to get in between defenders, and obviously Ryan's worked with Sam over the summer.
It's a great finish, by the way.
It's a fantastic finish. He's guided it home. He had to do very little to it. He's guided it home with the inside of his foot.
Could be on the first hat-trick of the season in the Cymru Premier League.
I hope not, because it's going to cost me a fortune.
I heard you're sponsoring him a couple of pennies a goal, aren't you?
A few pennies, yeah, pesetas.
But it's 2-0 to the Met, and on this form they could be top of the league come 8 o'clock this evening, and the bus journey home will be a happy bus journey.
Yeah, it'll be the Wenger bus on the way home tonight for the boys. They do enjoy the trips home. I think it's really important. When we first came into the league, the Cardiff Met spoke about having that togetherness. And
there's that long ball in, headed away again by Emlyn Lewis.
And that togetherness was those bus journeys up and down, the A470 all across Wales.
Vital.
And it was important for us. And I remember speaking to Rhys Griffiths about that, saying if you can get the boys together, go into games and on the way home, it really will help the team gel and bond. And that's one of the strengths of Cardiff Met, is that not only do they live together as students, they see each other every day on the buses on the way, and they do it properly, which is really, really important.
As you talk about the bus journey, I remember reading Brian Clough's book. He signed Frank Clark Frank Clark was a great guitar. He signed him they called him the guitar man. There's an episode in his book about it. He actually signed him with the thought, right, of the bus is that important, he said. He called Frank Clark the guitar man. I think he ended up with a European Cup winning medal. Not bad.
Yeah, and those are little things that go unnoticed.
Yeah.
They think you do a lot of stuff on the pitch.
Owen, will he pull it back? Great ball across. Oh, it had to be 3-0 there. It had to be. That's a big miss. I think Lewis Rees.
Yeah,
it goes through his legs there.
Yeah, if you look at where the chances are coming from Cardiff Met, they really are coming from this left-hand side. They've scored the two balls into the box have come from the left-hand side, and yet again that ball has come in from the left. But it really should be 3-0. Lewis should be scoring there.
Troy, two opportunities. In fact, it went through Rees's legs, and it went. I'm sure we'll see now in a minute. I think Elliot Evans then got a tender touch on him. Here it is. The quality from the left side is fantastic. Sam Jones, great weighted on the ball again. Owen with the cross.
So you look at that, and Sam can't do much more with his weighted pass. Harry's made that run in behind, and it's a great ball into the box from Harry, and it's just asking somebody to really finish it off. And it's disappointing they haven't done that from a Cardiff Met perspective.
The pressure really is on Aber at present, by the way. It's 32 minutes on the clock. A third goal, wind assisted or not, is a big lead at half-time.
Yeah, it is. Cardiff Met have a fantastic record here in Aberystwyth. Cardiff Met haven't lost in 6 here. And I think it's only 1 win in 11 Aber have against Cardiff Met. So
great ball in. It's 3-0. It's 3-0, and it's a hat-trick for Sam Jones. 33 minutes on the clock. 3 goals for Sam Jones. What a day he's having, enjoying himself. Quality cross from Elliot Evans. The man of the moment was in the middle to finish it off. It's Aber 0, Cardiff Met 3.
Again, all Sam can do is put the ball in the back of the net, and the timing of his run is fantastic. He's made that run. He's anticipated Elliot's cross into the box, and off the back of that centre half again, and he is really causing that Aber backline problems. And that's just, for me, defending. That's body shape. That's just looking where the ball is, where the man is. Can we play side on so we can see the ball? We haven't. And the ball in the box is the defender sleeping, doesn't know where his man is, and off the back of him in the Jack Rimmer there, he's got to do better.
I think, Chris, so the basics, we're talking about sometimes the basics of the football game. Just to let the viewers know, you're an ex-Welsh international, you had hundreds of league games. Basics of the fullback role is to stop the man getting a crossing. That's 5 or 6 crosses have come in this afternoon. Fullback's nowhere near making any tackles.
Absolutely. The defence, centre half's there to head it. Okay, fullback's there to stop that ball.
Basics, Chris.
It is a basic quality. If you're not stopping crossing in the box, you're going to cause yourself problems.
You only have, again, Jenkins.
Yeah, Ryan's a little bit tenacious. He'll be having a go at the fourth. He always has and he always will. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Let's keep the fourth official really on his toes and showing his team that he wants more. And I think that's really important for the players to see.
Not the happiest at 3-0 up. I wouldn't like to see him when he's 3-0 down.
His bark's worse than his bites.
Is it right? Okay. Emlyn Lewis trying to get in on the act. Now, what a ball that is. And Chubb almost got there. They're shell-shocked at the moment, Aber, Chris.
Yeah, they are. And I think, what Cardiff Met have got to be careful of, you can see the ploy now, get Matt Chubb to play high and wide and really cause Harry Howard a problem. If they're going to do that, they've got to make sure they plug the gap that Matt has left. But yeah, good ball by Emlyn, just a little bit more distance on it.
That's where you look for your leaders now. New teams just put together. At present, we're watching a game of football here. We're watching a group of players, like you said, who've been put together over the last 7 or 8 years. Well, the majority of them. And you're looking at the team in the green and black stripes who've been put together in a couple of weeks. And the difference is vast at the moment.
You can see that in the back lines. There's a real connection between Emlyn Lewis, Alex Lang, Kyle McCarthy. Then the wingers, the fullbacks, there's a real connection between their centre-halves. And everybody kind of knows their role. With Aber, it's a little bit disconnected at the moment.
Sam Jones, by the way, the hat-trick hero of the moment, has just pulled out to the left doing his bit of work. How do you feel, Chris? You're 23 years of age, you're playing a televised game, you're on a hat-trick after half an hour.
Yeah, one thing about Sam, he's not phased. He looks beyond things. He'll see himself with a hat-trick, but he'll want 4, he'll want 5.
That's what I want to hear.
He'll be disappointed if Ryan says at some point in the second half that he wants to bring him off. Oh. This is a big blow now for Aberystwyth.
That's the big man, John Owen
going off. Yeah, it's gone from bad to worse, I think, for Aber in this half. They just need to get to half time and regroup.
Sam Phillips coming on for the big man, John Owen. He's been troubled over the years with the injuries, the big man. He is a good player. Played for us in the Wales C team against England in the first game 5 or 6 years ago and performed really well. Just consistency, maybe. Yeah,
he's a bit of an enigmatic character, is John. And the games he plays well, when he does play well, he can be a real problem for the opposition. But there's times, probably, and his own admission, he hasn't probably got the best out of his ability.
McCarthy.
See, that's poor from me from the back line from Cardiff Met. They can't allow, with the 4 they've got back there, for strikers to play in front of them and not be tight. And they've done that, and Kyle's arrived late and given a certain foul away.
Yeah, they're on a forward momentum at the moment, but like you said, you've still got to keep it tight. A clean sheet at the back is key to him. He had a clean sheet last week. Build up.
One thing the Cardiff Met players will know is that goals really matter. Winning 2-0, winning 3-0, they want to go and get as many as they can, because in 2015 we lost out on promotion to the Welsh Premier League by 1 goal.
I remember.
And they've always spoken about just that 1 goal. It means huge amounts.
Chance. Great strike. Was blocked, by the way, by the own player. That was in, by the way. If Alex Darlington doesn't get in the way of that is in the back of the net. Reese, it's good cover tackle there by Harry Howard. Baker keen to keep the pace of the game at the Cardiff Met pace. Christian, I can remember that day. Who's the team who went up instead of you?
Haverfordwest.
5-0. Did they beat Aberdare?
Aberdare 5-0 in the last game of the season.
Unbelievable. Haverfordwest, by the way, good point this afternoon. Bala.
Any point at Bala is a good point, and Tony's had a great start down there at Haverfordwest, and hopefully that will continue for them. They've got a fantastic chairman down at Haverfordwest. He's got a real focus and a vision for where he wants to take the football club, and Tony's helping him achieve that at the moment.
Well, here's a question I might pose to you then, Chris. Season of change, maybe? New faces in the Cymru Premier League? Standing up and being counted now, youngsters coming through?
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of Lee Jenkins at Haverfordwest.
Oh,
I think
tremendous.
He's a fantastic young player, and he's 20 now. He'll only mature. You got him and Emlyn Lewis. Are they the heir to the thrones of George Horan? Probably so. But there will be lots of change. I'm looking at the Cardiff Met starting 11. I think it's a strong starting 11. It's an 11 that looks a top 6 11. But it's that consistency thing, and then probably where I think Penabont this year, they probably, and hopefully I don't upset Reese by saying this, maybe in the years that the strength and depth hasn't been there, but I went to watch them last weekend. I think the strength and depth they've got on their squad now is very good, and considering they had 3 senior players missing, Mal Davis, Sean McDonald missing, and they look the real deal this year.
August games, Bala against Newtown to come.
That's an intriguing one.
All big games, big games straight away, because the starts, they maybe haven't had the starts that they thought they'd had. 1 point And then Penabont against, that'll be a game as well. That'll be an entertaining encounter.
Yeah, surprised by the Newtown start. You know, they had a fantastic opportunity in Europe this year. They did really, really well to get there, and probably, you know, of course, not the start that Chris wanted. But I don't think that's down to fatigue. Just a tough start.
Tough start. Reese gets his shot off. Webb, by the way, the goalkeeper, was put in a heroic performance last week at Airbus, which added a big time to their win.
Yeah, I didn't see the game, but I was told about his performance, particularly in the first half. He's made some very good saves early on to keep Aber in the game.
Chubb, decent header from Chubb. Lewis Reese was coming back from the offside position. Niall Flint. I haven't seen much of Flint in midfield. It'll be very interesting. I mean, the first 5 to 10 minutes of the second period will be very interesting.
I'd expect Aber to go long early to put the Cardiff Met defence under a bit of pressure and to see if they can get an early goal.
That's why it was key. The loss of John Owen was a key loss. He could have done plenty. Interesting to see Sam Jones has taken up a wide berth since his 3 goals. Chubb, McCarthy, Price. They're playing with a bit of glitz about their game now, the Met.
Yeah, they'll do that. You know, their training will be based. Their training will be based around possession football.
There's that pace again from Lewis. He makes the tackle. He gets enough of the ball. It's not a penalty at all. And it just, you know, you're looking at centre backs, Chris. Sorry, you're looking at centre backs. He has rapid pace for a number 5.
Again, when people speak about Emlyn Lewis, they speak about his tenacity, they speak about his strength, his heading ability. But I remember we played TNS last year at Dragon Park, and he was up against Ryan Brobble. Emlyn was toe-to-toe with him. He is quick for a big lad.
It's an attribute. That is a Football League attribute, by the way. A centre-back can run as quick as that. Everybody wants one.
If I had his pace, I'd be sat on Sky Sports with 50 million in the bank.
Well, you'd prefer that to working with me?
No, not at all. But I just think, you know, whilst we talk about Emlyn's pace there, I still think it's poor defending, because the striker's got in between him and Kyle, and they've had to rely on their pace to get him out of it, which is poor. Play one in front, one behind. The striker doesn't get it to feet, doesn't cause him a problem.
Chubb to Lewis. Loves that diag. Emlyn Lewis wasn't bad at all. Brilliant ball. Craven, great touch, Craven. Again, Sam Jones has now dropped into the 10 role. You've got the hat-trick, Sam. Go and get yourself another one.
It's interesting, you know, Ryan does like his little combinations. He does like
he'll change
the movement. Yeah, he'll do that. Ryan will do that. They've got lots of movement. One dropping short, one going long. You can see that. Sam all of a sudden finds himself in that 10 position.
But it's been a dominant, wind-assisted first half performance, Chris. And let's not be unfair to Aber, but let's be a little bit fair to them. They put 3 good goals away and 3 good footballing goals.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the goals have come not from the use of the wind; they've come from the quality that the Cardiff Met have showed.
What a chance that is! What an effort that is from Baker. I think if that would have gone in, you'd have caught this celebration on the seafront.
If you remember a few years ago, I think it was our first ever game in the Cymru Premier League, and Chris Baker scores from a very wide angle off a throw-in, and it's a wonder goal. For me, it was down as one of the goals of the season.
Yeah, great strike that as well. He meant that, by the way. Obviously, I think you're going downstairs, Chris, to have a chat with Nikki John at half-time, and I'm sure she'll ask you about the great hat-trick from Sam Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's been a positive first half performance from Sam. I think the most important thing is that Sam has got in between defenders and has caused those defenders a problem. Probably over the years been guilty of not getting across that first defender, and Sam has done that, and there's the value of doing it.
So quickly as well. Then Anthony Williams, you say you know him, Tap. What's his team talk at half-time? Does he go in?
I think he regroups. He has to go in. First half's gone, dusted, and we start the second half. How quick they start the second half is going to be really important. I think that's what he'll be looking for, and of course not to concede. If he concedes early on, the game is then, for me, dead and buried.
So like you said, you know him. You worked with him for many years. Does he beat him up at half time,
No,
or does he talk him through?
Taff won't do that. So Taff's got a good tactical brain about him.
Okay.
He'll be more of a tactical thing. He'll speak about as a ranting and a raving. I don't think the players need that. They know they've made mistakes.
Yes.
Okay. Don't forget, I'm the one that's ranting and raged over the years, and it got me places, but it also, didn't get my point across at times. So
Absolutely.
The balance is
Style.
really important.
Yes, individual style of managers.
The balance is really important to get.
That's why your number 2s and 3s are vital as well.
Yeah, I agree. And likewise for Ryan, he's got to go in there and remind his players the game's not over.
Keep your feet on the ground.
Absolutely, because one early goal, second half, particularly in this +3 conditions, can cause themselves a problem. We spoke before the game, Joan, and we said, there's always goals in this game, and it's shown again today.
Definitely.
Another 3 goals.
We should run through to Alex Lang just to see his 1 minute left of the first half. Big job on his hands.
It is, and Alex had 11 clean sheets last year in the Welsh Premier League, and he started with a clean sheet last week. Today it looks as if at the moment he's heading that way again. So 2 clean sheets at the start of the season would be a real positive for Alex.
Absolutely. Well, a clean sheet is your goalkeeper's hat-trick, isn't it?
Absolutely. For me, it's vital. You can always win a football game if you keep a clean sheet.
Webb will go long. No John Owen to look forward to now. Great header from Craven, the fullback. It's not bad at all from Alex Darlington. Hits it through. Phillips drives it across. Could have been the last minute. Not great effort, by the way.
Yeah, there's still a threat in Aber. The young lad there, he shot in the right direction. He shot across the goalkeeper. So if Alex does save, he's powering it out to an on-running
What
attacker.
a key moment that could be.
It could be.
Last 10 seconds of the first period. If he gets it across the goalkeeper into the corner, could have changed the whole game. The first half will be finished in a couple of seconds, and it's a dominant first half performance from Cardiff Met University. A hat-trick from Sam Jones, the hat-trick man. We go in. Aber 0, Cardiff Met 3.
What would be nice for Ryan in an ideal world is that as the game progresses, he gets an opportunity to blood some of the youngsters he has on the bench, because if he can do that in a World Premier League game, that gives them some experience, because they're going to need it throughout the season. It's not the oldest bench that Ryan has at his disposal, so giving them valid experience will be really important.
Lewis on the ball in midfield. They'll hope to see a lot more of the ball in the second period. Rimmer just goes to Rimmer. The referee blows the final whistle of the first half. Hugh Jones, and the half-time score at Park Avenue. Aberystwyth 0, Cardiff Met University 3, and join myself and Christian Edwards again in the second period.
Screwfix Sprint, yn noddi pêl-droed ar S4C. Screwfix Sprint, yn noddi pêl-droed ar S4C.
Mae'n ambell i beth yn debyg rhwng Aberystwyth a Met Caerdydd. 2 dîm dy rheolwyr newydd, 2 dîm di ennill i gemau cyntaf. Mae'r tebygrwydd yn stopio fan yna. Dim ond un tîm oedd ynddi yn yr hanner cyntaf. 3 i Met Caerdydd, hat-trick i Sam Jones, wham bam. Diolch yn fawr, mydd Sam a'r cefnogwyr o Met Caerdydd. Maen nhw wedi mwynhau honna mas draw. Dim ymheuaeth am hynny. Sio Meredith yn cadw cwmni i fi, wedi bod lan yna yn sylwebu hefyd, tipyn o berfformiad gan nes i siarad efo cwpl o bobl wedi gweld yn erbyn Cei Connor pen wythnos diwetha a di mynd, mae'n ein edrych yn gryf. Wel, ni wedi gweld hynny, da'n llygad yn hunain pnaw yma.
Waw, am berfformiad yn y hanner cyntaf gyda Met Caerdydd. Y gwaniaeth i fi oedd yr angerdd, ond y moyn popeth lot mwy yn dal lan ar ail bêl. Dim yn rhoi'n amser i Aberystwyth ar y bêl hefyd. Pyn oedd nhw an cael cyfle a dim lot o opsiynau i unrhyw chwchreuwr Aberystwyth. Felly, berfformiad anhygoel gan Met Caerdydd yn y hanner cyntaf yna.
Tair i ddim. Chi eisiau bod yn ofalus o dwi'n ben eto, ond mae'n mynd i gymryd gwerth ddyn nhw'n mewn i hon. Dewch chi'n edrych ar y goliau a'r gol gyntaf. Sion, mae'n glasur. Mae'n
glasur, ond i fi, yr amddiffynwr ddim yn gwneud yn gret, ond Sam Jones sy'n bod yn dan yn ystod y hanner cyntaf. A beth mae'n gwneud yn dda yw cymeryd y cyffyrddiad cyntaf. Dim ond gofod cymeryd ail gyffyrddiad, agor i gorff y lan. A pyn nath hynny, dim ond un peth oedd yn mynd i digwydd, gol. A i fod yn onest, dyw Aberystwyth yn mynd i gallu delio gyda fe yn y hanner cyntaf yna.
Mae'n gwneud rhywbeth anodd i edrych yn syml yn grefft, a mae Sam Jones wedi gwneud hynny yn yr hanner cyntaf. Mae symudiadau fe hefyd. Mae'r 2 gol nesaf, mae'r croesiadau yn dod mewn bob ochr. Un dy fewn o chwith, un dy fewn o dde. Mae fe'n syncronhoi o'r angerdd nes di weid. Mae'r dwyster yn chwarae Met i dal yn sylw ni hefyd.
Ydy, fel ymysodwr, ti moyn safon ar y croesiadau. Dyna'n union yn beth mae wedi cael Phillips fan hyn. Dwi'n peth ar ei fe, rhoi di yn y coridor ansictrwydd fel mae Mark Ymal yn cael ei galw e. A Sam Jones eto. I fi, yr amddiffynwr, oedd e ar ei flanau, ond eto, oedd e moyn mwy. Just moyn mae Simoni. A fan hyn, be mae'n gwneud dda, fe sy'n bwydio Elliot ar y llaw dde, dim yn sefyll na'n edrych ar y bas, a fe'n dilyn lan, mynd yn o ddwfwn, a peniad i benni a coroni, symudiad, godidog i Met Caerdydd.
Mae wedi bod yn berfformiad hyfryd, na chi groesiad, mae'n werth gwylio rein, dim ond cyflogi Aberystwyth, dwi'n mynd dweud, ond Sam Jones, ni wedi clywed i enw fe, spel, di bod gyda Cymraen y clydach dy mewn y mis Ionawr, ond mae fe'n mwynhau yn y safle yna. Oedd na Gico Smotin hefyd, neu falle bach rhy obeithiol?
Dim i fi, oedd Malcolm yn hanner meddwl falle bod hi'n Gico Smotin. I fi, mae fe'n neud y gwaith caled, mae'n cael y cyffyrddiad cymerid i mewn fyna, ond Jack Rimmer, i pob clod iddo fe, oedd fe'n dod mewn a fi'n credu bod e'n just wedi dal lygad Jack Rimmer, penderfynu mynd lawr, edrych am y Gico'r Smotin yn lle sefyll ar y rhad i fod yn onest.
Wel, dyna hi ar yr egl. Ni wedi gweud gymaint cyn y gêm am y cysylltiadau, y 2 reolwr yma di bod yn aelodau dîm y fforddi Met am flynyddoedd dan y reolwr Mr Met Caerdydd, Christian Edwards. Mae fe nawr yn gwylio, mae fe hefyd yn siarad â Nicky John.
Diolch, Dylan. Well, Christian, what a first half that was. I mean, obviously, you're watching the game from a very different perspective today that you may have been used to previously, but wow, are we seeing Cardiff Met play with a different style to what we've been used to before, perhaps?
Yeah, it's got Ryan's style, and you can see that very obvious, but it was a very good first half. Maybe a slight wind assisted, but however, you can't really fault the balls that Cardiff Met put into the box, and Sam has done what all good strikers needs to do. He's got to cross his defender, he's got to cross the near post, and he's had his just rewards.
You know both these managers very well, of course, don't you? What will they be saying? 2 very different conversations in the dressing room at the moment, but what will they be saying?
Ryan's going to remind his team that the game's not over. I'm sure that's what he'll be doing. He'll be incessant on that and saying we must see it as 0-0 going into the second half. And for Anthony, he won't rant or rave. He'll be in there, remind the players their roles, responsibilities. And again, it's 0-0 going to the second half, but we've got to get the first goal for the second half. Do that quick, do that early. And I expect to get the ball from Aber to go from back to front very quickly.
Is it a strange experience for you, Christian, after all these years, to begin a season like this not being in the dugout?
It is strange, yeah, but I've been to 7 games already this season. It's only 2 or 3 weeks old, but it is strange. It was a break that I needed after 13 years. But I love football, so I'll always be involved in it, and I'm raring to go again. And people around the place today said, "How are you enjoying retirement?" Not retired. I've just needed a break, and I've had that little bit of a break, and can't wait to get going again.
You mentioned the age there. I mean, the league does celebrate 30 years this season, and as someone who's been heavily involved with it as a player and a manager, do you think that it gets the recognition that it deserves?
At times, no. I think you see a lot of the work that goes off the pitch, that the hard work's done by volunteers and done by the people of football clubs. So at times it doesn't, but at other times then it does. You see some of the glory we have in Europe. I think the clubs do very, very well. But it's a process of just making sure we keep working hard. Are we going to have that switch to summer football that people talk about? I don't know. If it happens, so be it, but we just got to make sure that we keep developing the league and having the best young players in the league as far as I'm concerned.
And I must say as well, I am intrigued. You're up on the red button today with Mark Jonah-Jones, a man that you also know very well from the Wales C setup. Where is his forte, Christian? Is it on the mic or is it in the dressing room?
His car journey today was an interesting one. That's all I would say. The man's mad for radio too. The man is mad for his music. So that's where I think his forte lies.
Well, I mean, what else can we say? We need to get a spy cam on there, I think. Thank you for joining me. We'll let you go back up to the gantry. Hwyl fer sy'n nesaf rwan wrth gwrs. Ond dewch yn ôl ato ni ar gyfer yr ail hanner mewn cwpl o funudau.
Screwfix Sprint, yn noddi pêl-droed ar S4C. Screwfix Sprint, yn noddi pêl-droed ar S4C.
Croeso nôl ato ni, chi o Lygfa yn Aberystwyth, a cofiwch am yr uchelbwyntiau hefyd. I nôl ar nos lun am hanner awr 9, cyfle eto i weld un o sbawt hefyd. Digon i weld penwythnos yma, buddigoliaethau neithiwr Ceicona a'r Flint di ennill pob gêm. Cynarfon di ennill pnawn, mae Seinti Newydd hefyd. A mae Met Caerdydd arni, fel maen nhw'n gweud, ar hyn o bryd. Tair I ddim ar yr egwyl yn Aberystwyth. Aberystwyth yn eilyddio wrth i ni fynd nôl at ein tîm sylwebu. Mae Sion Meredith ar y ffordd I ymuno gyda Malcolm Allen a Nick Parry.
Welcome back to the very blustery Park Avenue in Aberystwyth, where Cardiff Met are currently 3-0 ahead, and the man stood over the ball there is the hero of the first 45 minutes. Sam Jones with a superb hat-trick. There's a substitution being made there. I think it's Jack Rimmer come off, one of their, experienced players, Rimmer. For Aberystwyth, he's being replaced.
Interestingly, with that substitution there, Harry Hall has gone to right back. So he's got a left-footed defender at right back, which could cause him problems. If Cardiff Met can get going on the inside of him, he's going to be on his weaker side, so it's going to cause him some problems.
Phil Perry it is coming on to play left back. See, at the half-time there, Chris, your interview, and you did say that Cardiff Met have been excellent, and you would just expect them to carry on in the same vein this half, but still keep on their mark. Clean sheet is the big one. Yeah,
clean sheet's massive. They win the game then, but for me, they have to have a different approach in many ways. Is the balls won't be the same. Anything lofted and long will be caught up in the wind. So the ball this half has got to be slid down the outside to give themselves a chance of adding that fourth goal. I think for me, what's really important, you can see Emlyn Lewis now playing behind the striker. He needs to get in front, get Cal McCarthy across so they can play one in front, one behind, or otherwise that ball to that striker's feet is on at the moment.
Are you still encouraging your full-backs to get forward at 3-0, or are you saying keep the 3-0 in the bank and guess one full-back go forward at a time?
I think the balance is there. On this side, you've got Matt Chubb now playing high, so CJ will come around and look at that defensive three. And likewise, if the ball's on the other side, CJ can go and join in, and Matt Chubb becomes that defence.
Yeah, I would be exactly the same. You're 3-0 ahead. Maybe one at a time. It's not, don't have to go all guns blazing. Elliot Evans again whips a cross in. Lewis Webb, who said he was the hero of the hour last week up at Airbus. Couldn't do nothing about the 3 goals, by the way. Wouldn't put any of them down to the goalkeeper.
No, the quality of the ball and the quality of the run into the box is how Cardiff Met have scored those goals. It's not been through the goalkeeper, any mistakes with him.
Hallwood goes back to Webb. Jones will be chasing everything. It's a great layoff from Phillips. Lewis lashes the ball against Perry. He did well to stand his ground there.
You've got to do a little bit better than that against Emlyn Lewis. That was telegraphed, that step over. Emlyn's going to read that. That's food and drink to him all day long.
26 now, Emlyn Lewis. 25.
26 Emlyn is now, yeah.
I know I know you're a Cardiff Met man, and you always will be, but is Emlyn Lewis capable of playing in the football league, lower levels of the football league?
All I can say is in the summer the conference club came looking for Emlyn. Right. I think that's the level he can aspire to play at. He proved that this last season when he played for Wales C and captained Wales C against England. A lot of those players came from the conference, and Emlyn didn't look at our place that night.
Tremendous.
In fact, he was outstanding. So there's the level. I do get a little bit frustrated at times when people talk about playing professional football. It's very, very hard to play consistently, and the level is great. I went to watch Newport County against Salford on Tuesday to watch Will Evans, and the level is a big step. It really is a big step, and it's not to say it can't be done. We've players over the years that have managed to do that of the Welsh Premier League, so it can be done, but it's not as easy as people think it is.
No, I just think myself personally, give my view on him as well, is just think when you've got a 6'4" great header of the ball and you've got pace in abundance, I think the package is there to play at least for the likes of Newport County or Wrexham. Has he produced on the evening?
Priestley Farquharson has shown that it can happen,
yeah.
And he's done it well at Newport County. And there has been some really, really good players over the years that have stepped out of there. Somebody that you manage, Chris Doig, another good advocate for the Cymru Premier League. It shows it can be done, but it's not as easy as people make it out to be. I think at times they throw away comments when people say that, because it is hard. It really, really is hard.
It's Lewis Rees. Front line for Cardiff Met of Rees and Sam Jones could cause problems this season. Like we said, we did talk about a big nine, like the main men who have played in this league for the last few seasons, Venables, Michael Wilde, but these two are a little bit different. They're a bit more maybe fleet-footed, and they might be what we call football in centre forward.
Yeah, I think Ryan experienced that when he took over. He had a style of football that he wanted to play, and I think he quickly realised that he probably couldn't play with the one striker, and two was needed, and he's got the balance.
Great
there.
To see.
Yeah, he's got the balance. He's got Lewis's left foot and Ryan and Sam's right foot. So it gives you the balance. But they're both hungry. They both want to work hard.
Yeah. And
most importantly for me, they both want to listen.
Yeah, well, talking to Malcolm Allen as we usually do in our half-time conference, he was pleased with the hat-trick from Sam Jones, and you're talking like an ex-Welsh international centre-forward and Premier League centre-forward. He said that's as good a hat-trick as you'll see. It's a goal scorer, so he must be a goal scorer. It must be in him. Yeah,
Sam is a goal scorer. He is. He's got that pace, but what he also has got, he's got that ability to get across that near post and that defender, which at times seems the easiest skill in the world, but to recognise that for some forwards, they don't do it.
No.
And it's innate in what Sam does. So he's got that natural knack. Yeah, he's got that knack to get in there. And I've seen a lot of players over the years that they have all the qualities to be a good striker, but they just don't have that natural knack of finding positions. And Sam certainly did that in the first half.
Absolutely. Lewis.
Cardiff Met got to be careful here now. The game has slowed down a bit.
Yeah.
And playing the ball around the back, inviting some kind of pressure. As I said earlier on, the ball's got to have purpose. The pass has got to have pace on it to break the lines and to really upset the Aberystwyth defensive unit.
Chubb hasn't had to bomb forward much, such has been the dominance of his team so far this afternoon. Lewis always got that ball in behind. He'll ask questions, fires it forward. Chubb races down towards it. Does he keep it inside? Or
yeah, Matt's got to put that out for a throw in there. Matt is probably one of the quickest players in the Welsh Premier League. An absolute athlete, Matt is, and he's got this, so I think he can put that out for a throw in.
What a way to watch Premier League football in Wales. It's the new way. Costa del Aber.
It's different, I'll tell you that.
Chance. Jones almost. It's a good collect there from Webb, the goalkeeper. At present, the 3-goal advantage would give Cardiff Met outright top spot in the Cymru Premier League, which would put Fowler's Flint into second place.
And Cardiff Met play Flint in a couple of weeks' time, so it's interesting. But let's not get carried away. It's only the second game of the season. There's a lot of football to be played between now and next May. What I'd like to see now, I'd like to see Elliot Evans get a stranglehold of the game. I think at times he can be a passenger. If Cardiff Met are going to play this patient game, can they get Elliot onto the ball?
So do you drag him inside and play him more as a central midfielder than a wide right man?
No, I think he's okay in the position he's in, and he's finding those little pockets. I just think at times the defenders have got to play that ball to Elliot and trust him. And when you trust Elliot, he will give you quality on the ball.
Absolutely, as he showed and produced with the cross for the third goal. Eriksson surely go back to his goalkeeper Webb. This is a great start, by the way, for the Met. Like you said, okay, they're not passing it quickly, and they're not looking as brilliant as they were in the first half, but Ryan Jenkins will be pleased just to see the minutes tick by 3-0 ahead.
Absolutely. The more the minutes tick away, the closer they are to the game ending. I think what Ryan will look for now over the next 10 minutes is to make sure that they're doing what they're doing, keeping Aber at bay, and then hopefully can start making those changes. I really would like to see some of that Cardiff Met bench get some valuable experience in the Welsh Premier League.
Price gets a wide to Owen takes on Horde down the left hand side now. Horde does his job in defending.
Yeah, for me that's a poor pass by Tom. Tom's played at the wrong side of Harry. He needs to play that in front of him so Harry can step onto that ball and go past Harry Horwood. With the ball behind him, that gives the defender an opportunity to step onto the game and then push Harry onto the back foot, which is what happened, and Harry then unfortunately gives the ball away.
I'm sure they've been told that at half-time. The job of the full-back is to stop the ball coming in. It happened 3 times in the first period and produced 3 goals. Big job for the full-backs in this half.
But I'd be looking at Harry Owen to be getting at Harry Horwood. You know, Harry's a left foot at right back. Can Harry get on that ball and run it in?
It's kicked out a mile there. Alex Lang, full length of the pitch into the wind. I'm talking at the beginning of the game, Chris, and I'm looking through a few of the results and the teams. On paper, I'm surprised Carnarvon still have a good side on paper. They're 11, like you said, in this winning leagues or coming in the top 3 is all about squads. But surviving in this league, you've got to have that good, very good 11. They've got a good 11 up this afternoon, Carnarvon. I wasn't surprised to see them win 2-0 against.
No, Hugh has got a best out of Carnarvon, and for me, they've got probably the best player in the league in Dion Donoghue at centre half. He's a fantastic player. They've got him at the back, and they've got some, probably characters and individuals that you probably wouldn't have in your team, but they do it well. They do it together. I really like the lad Edwards in midfield.
Yeah, no, Edwards,
fantastic.
Sean Bradley.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're lads who are making their household names now at Carnarvon. Hughie Griffiths, let's not forget. Carnarvon will play in the Scottish Challenge Cup. Looking forward to that this season.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be a great experience for Hugh, and his team. They did really well last year to win the playoffs.
Definitely.
And go there. It'll be a great adventure for them. Hopefully, it won't distract too far away from what is their bread and butter, which is the Cymru Premier League. But it'll be a great experience for those players.
Perry, substitute to take the throw in. 55 minutes, 10 minutes of the second half gone already. Neither goalkeeper troubled at all. The game was just sort of hit a lull at the moment.
Yeah, I think that was going to happen at some point. Really, Aber do lack that bit of firepower today. Steph Davis, for me, he was all the talk before the game. Him up against Emlyn Lewis, he's not playing today. I really like Steph. I think he's a robust centre forward that really causes teams problems, not because of the goals he scores, just because of his ability to unsettle defenders. And they've lost him before the game. John Owen's gone off, and they really are lacking that bit of firepower today.
Well, the results from today's game across the bottom of the screen. We're just catching up there. Connors Quay 1, Airbus 0, Bala 1, Haverfordwest 1, Carnarvon 2, Pontypridd 0. The New Saints with the 90th minute, Brian Brobble goal 1, Penabont 0. Aberystwyth currently 3-0 behind to a very happy Cardiff. It's Craig Hanford there, ex-Carmarthen Town coach, and 300 games in the Welsh in the Cymru Premier League. Craig under his belt. Obviously assisting now, Ryan. Yeah,
he's working. He's working with Ryan. He's coming. Elliot's the assistant manager and a player assistant manager. Sorry, and Craig's coming. Craig and Ryan know each other from doing their A license together, so they've had that connection.
Great,
and they seem to work well together.
2 decent lads as well. Chance, Owen. Fires one into the car park. Hope you haven't parked that side of it, Chris.
No, not Harry's best effort there. I think he can take the ball out of his feet a little bit more there and really have a go. But no, not the best of qualities. I think anything that goes in the air today, the wind's going to catch it. That can be low and hard to work the keeper more.
Well, Sam Jones has one hell of a chance of beating last year's top scorer in the Cymru Premier League for Cardiff Met. It was Adam Roscoe with 5 goals. So he has 4 in 2 games. That's the type of thing, what a way to start your season. Can you start? You're looking now, if you're a centre forward like him, you're eyeing up 10 already. Great ball. Cut out by Perry.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fantastic start for Sam. He's got that quality to be able to score those goals. But let's not forget, his teammates have got to get it in that ball.
Oh, yeah, they did.
And so he needs his teammates to run. What I do like about Sam's goals today is the timing of his runs and the quality of finish that he's had. It's not been erratic. He's not slashed at anything. They've been really nice guided finishes.
Webb to take the kick, as again, without John Owen now, no target man to launch the long one too. Carl McCarthy out-jumped, just straight offside Darlington. It's a great flick from Phillips, a substitute, and Darlington. It's a lazy offside, that is.
It is a lazy offside, but for me, you've got to win your first header there. But I don't like the way Darlington's got in behind the Cardiff Met defence and is not being picked up. He's got to be Emlyn Lewis there for me. Has got to be marshalling that better. But going back to Sam Jones, Jonah, and I'm probably thinking too far ahead of ourselves here, but the Welsh C squad again this year. We've lost both our strikers out of the league this year that played in Will Evans and Kane McLagan. And if Sam is scoring goals, he's going to put himself in with a great chance of
shop window
of potentially making that squad.
Brilliant. Kane McLagan, by the way, got a brace this afternoon as Barrytown defeated Pontardawe 2-1.
Yeah, it was an important result for Barry that today. Losing to a title rival in Britain Ferry a few weeks back.
Almost. Sorry, just to cut that content. Almost a great ball there. It's the first corner of the second period. Surely now this has to be swung right underneath Alex Lang crossbar.
And this is
left-footed.
This is where Cardiff Met have to be careful. There's a lull in the game, and they've been dragged down into that level, and they're allowing Aberystwyth to play balls into the box as they're doing.
Might be an idea to throw a few people in the box, by the way. Whipped across, great corner. Chance, save, what a save from Alex Lang. Thorne it was with the volley. A brilliant left-handed save by Lang. You did say he's a wonderful shot stopper, and that, by the way, is a wonderful save.
It's a very good save. I think he's unsighted as well. He doesn't see that till later. It's a great reaction save from Alex.
And Met break the other end. Jones.
But again, knowing Alex as I do, it's nothing that I don't expect from him. He's a fantastic goalkeeper. I think you've got probably two of the best goalkeepers in the league here today.
Jones drives across. Evans tries to play the 1-2 in. But that was a spark from Aberystwyth. Craven. Not quite, CJ. Go back to left back.
Yeah, the game's
off cue.
Yeah, the game's got a bit scrappy for me. It's back to front. It's a bit of a basketball game, and I think Cardiff Met need to stop that. They've got to try and get that ball.
Great save, superb save. Doesn't really connect Thorne. Would he have been better off heading this?
I don't think he can really head that. I think he's stretching at best to try and guide that into the box. But again, for me, poor defending by CJ Craven. His body position's all over the place. He doesn't know where his man is, and he's relied on his goalkeeper there to keep the clean sheet.
Well, the game,
and that's not hard work. We're talking a matter of inches to be able to move your feet, not 20, 30, 40 yards.
Chance, Darlington just wide of the mark, and you did say that they're just getting a little bit sloppy at the back. You can see Chris Baker now going absolutely berserk there with Elliot Evans, telling him to track his players. Look at Baker then, that's what you want. Even when you're 3-0 ahead, you've got to have leaders.
Absolutely. Again, what Chris is trying to instruct there to Elliot is to come into narrow. You've got Emlyn Lewis shouting, and it's a lot of white noise. At the moment, you don't need that white noise. You need constructive criticism to be able to get your teammates into a position where they can affect the game. Because, as I said, it's gone a bit of a basketball game for me from back to front, and Cardiff Met need to stop that because it'll only help and encourage Aber to do that even more.
Well, one goal, the next goal for either side. The fourth puts the Met out of sight completely. They should be out of sight now. But a goal for Aber with this strong wing behind them. Who knows? 30 minutes left to play in this Cymru Premier League game.
Yeah, you look at Tuesday night's performance, Swansea City against Millwall. It's 2-0 in the 90th minute, and Millwall scored 2 own goals in injury time. So the game
got to keep going.
Yeah, the game has an effect. It has an ebb and a flow.
Price. Owen gets it wide. Craven. Owen, can he put the ball early? Opts not to. Keeps it at his feet. Price.
Now it's 3v3. Now it's 3v3, which is what Cardiff Met didn't want.
And the far man on this side is on. Lewis, it's a poor pass. Terrible from Darlington there. He's given the midfielder no chance. He's just drifted out for the goal kick in the end. The pass from Darlington was a poor pass.
You can see Ryan being animated now on the far side, and rightly so. Cardiff Met aren't functioning like they were in the first half. They've gone a bit sloppy in their play. Not to suggest that anybody's lacking work rate. I just think they're getting a little bit carried away with themselves. For me, the game of football is where you position yourself without the ball. And if you can do...
Bala v Newtown, the next game on Sgorio. Online, Penabont versus Haverfordwest. 2 very, very entertaining games in the Cymru Premier League. Plenty of games on this season. Once more, Litchfield wins a header. Baker. That's decent play in midfield there from Lewis. But just, I'm encouraged by Aber's ability. They haven't thrown the towel in.
No,
they haven't thrown the towel in, right?
Jack Thorne just shows that. They really are going to dig in. For them, if they can get a goal now, it's they can carry on with that ability to go and get that second. But I just think Cardiff Met have just gone off the boil slightly. I thought Ryan would like to have probably made some subs by now, but he can't do that because the game, whilst it's 3-0 to Cardiff Met, it's still got an edge to it that Aber can get back in at any time.
Well, there were 8 managerial changes, Christian, in this league. Obviously, yourself was one of them. The surprise one for me in the summer was, I think it was a surprising one for everyone, was Antonio Corbicero departing from Aberystwyth, because boy, did they show some spirit after Christmas in their climb away from relegation. Yeah, they did very well. Corbs and his coaching staff did very, very well to bring a young Aberystwyth squad out of that relegation area and climb. I think he was to 9th to finish the season off, and he did a really good job. He got as high as 8th. Yeah, apologies, 8th. And I understand, and I spoke with Corbs, I understand his frustrations, and it is frustrating for him. He's a local boy to Aberystwyth. He tried to get those local boys in, and he did it, and I thought he did it really well. So yeah, as you say, it was a surprise. I remember doing the last game of the season, which they won at Barrytown to stay up. And Andy Morrison was the co-commentator that afternoon, and he was full of praise for their attitude, for their spirit, and the way they guided themselves away from danger. They worked their socks off to get away from danger. Yeah, there's lots of cliches in football, and one of them is about any team can beat anybody, and for me, Aberystwyth epitomise that. They're one of those teams that can beat anybody on their day. They're a really frustrating and awkward team to play against, and have been for me over the years. The wind still very blustery here at Park Avenue. Heat wave over, definitely. Price and Baker in midfield will be a good battle for any midfield in this league. In industry-wise, they will absolutely work their socks off. Absolutely, yeah, they will. Chris is full of endeavour. Tom, exactly, is the same, but has that little bit more quality. And don't forget, they've still got Charlie Cosby to come back into the mix. Somebody who's been at the club for. Yeah, how is Charlie Cosby, by the way? I believe he's at a wedding today, Charlie. Right. But he's doing well. His rehabilitation's coming back along nicely. So I think the target, or the anticipated target time for Charlie, is January, February. Great to see him back. Matt Chubb. I think what Cardiff Met now, strikers need to do, the 2 9s. They both can't run away from the ball. One's got to come short and one's got to go long to upset that Aberystwyth defence, but also for the Cardiff Met backline to have options to go long or to go short and interfere, because at the moment they're both running away from the ball and it's coming straight back into Cardiff Met's faces. That's your point, and Ollie's header then in from Lewis Rees. But I'll tell you this, Chris, you know everything about these Cardiff Met players and their defence, but they can play another 2 or 3 seasons this back four, and they won't have many easy afternoons than they've had so far. No, as I said, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Aberystwyth in any way, but they do lack that firepower today, and it has been quite comfortable for them. McCarthy. But just sneaking into Cardiff Met's game, you saw it there, Harry Owen waiting for the ball to come to him, whereas in the first half they were going to meet that, and really got to stamp that out of their game and get back to what they did in the first half, and that was winning the first ball, winning the second ball, and setting the tempo for the game. The next game for Aber will be Pontypridd away. Interesting game that will be. It will be, yeah. Pontypridd new to the league, have come in and had 2 disappointing results. I don't know about the performances, but certainly the results have been disappointing, because they invested heavily over the summer on the players that they brought in. Clayton Green from Barrytown, fantastic player. Joe Evans from Cardiff Met gone there. Ashley Morris from Penabont. So they have brought some quality players in, and probably would have expected a little bit more of a return. Yeah, I think Joe Evans may be a little bit more occupied in the back four with Ponty this season than he would have been at the Met. Corner for Cardiff Met. Joe's got his own qualities. I like Joe. He's a smashing young lad, but he also has to remember he was playing alongside the Wales C captain last year, which makes it a lot easier for him. Short corner again. Asking questions. Webb collects. Lewis. That's the type of ball into the box that Lewis Webb wouldn't have had in academy games. He's got a swirling ball with pace coming into the box, and he's got a 6'4" centre half running at it. Brilliant work again from Price. he's impressing more as the game's going on?
You know my thoughts on him, Jonah. I think he's a fantastic individual. Interestingly, Tom had a loan spell at Aberystwyth a few seasons ago.
Yeah.
Never quite worked out for him. And he's a bit of a complex character, is Tom. He thinks a hell of a lot about the game. He's a fantastic individual, but a real deep thinker. And like I say, he's playing in not an unusual position for himself, but he's not a natural holder in midfield. He likes to play in that 10 role. Him and Chris Baker will be fantastic for Cardiff Met, making those runs in behind.
No, the tempo when they scored the 3 goals were in quick succession, and they came in about a 15-minute period, and it was all wide balls in very early. Like we said, absolutely tore holes in the defence. Chance here, Elliot Evans usually good in front of goal. Evans, 4-0 deflected into the back of the net. Webb just maybe a little bit disappointed, but the deflection didn't help him. But Elliot Evans opens his account for the Cymru Premier season. Evans gets the goal, Met get their 4th, and in the 69th minute that could be game over.
I think it is. The keeper's unlucky here. It's a ball out to Elliot. He's taken it out of his feet. It's not the greatest of first touches. It's taken him away from his body, but it's taken a wicked deflection, and the keeper's got no chance there. And it's tough on Aber, because if you look at the context of the second half, they've really been in the game, but that's a sickening blow for Anthony Williams and his team.
Yeah, Jesko evades his left hand, the flying left hand of Webb, but as they say, you get nothing unless you shoot on target, and Evans got the ball on target, and he opens his account for the season.
Yeah, in the early days in the Welsh Premier League, Elliot Evans was a 12 to 15 goal a season man, and it'd be good to see Elliot get back into those numbers again. But we must forget he's 31, I think, this year is Elliot, so he's getting on a little bit. But he's added a different side to his game these days, which I think is really important for him in his progression as a player. Yeah,
well, you're looking at his game this afternoon. 2 bits of quality. You said the cross for the hat-trick goal was absolutely top draw at any level. It was a brilliant cross. And then, he got a shot from the edge of the area, but he's got it in with power, and it's in the back of the net. That's what he's all about. He's a quality footballer.
He is. I've had Elliot since he was 18 years of age, and I know all his qualities. I think he's a tremendous individual, and also a tremendous football player. I sat down with Elliot at the end of last season and spoke about, he was frustrated about his form last year, but he also questioned me, which I didn't mind, about the system that we played, which was a diamond, and he didn't feel as if it helped him. Ryan's got him playing in a diamond again this year, and he seems to be a lot happier this year with his performances, so that's good for Ryan to be able to do that.
David Evans comes on for Alex Darlington.
And also Ryan Jenkins there looks as if he's going to make the sub, and if it's a sub, I think it's going to be Dixon Cabango. I think the Welsh Premier League is going to see a fantastic young man coming onto the pitch now. He's a midfielder. Yeah, he's a midfielder. He's got lots of industry. He's a bit like Chris Baker. He will run in behind. Great. And I hope he does come on, because I think Ryan's going to need him over the course of the season.
Harry Owens picked the wrong pass there. He got plenty of time on the ball. He's saying that Reece made the wrong way for me. I think Harry should have just given it to him on the outside.
At times, as coaches and footballers, we make the game complex, and it doesn't need to be.
David Evans, by the way, is Jonathan Evans. Middle name David. Jones drives into the corner.
I'd look to be protecting Sam now. Sam Jones, it's an opportunity possibly for Dixon to come on into that midfield and push Harry Owen up top with Lewis Reece. But with Sam's got the goals, Ryan's going to need to protect him over the course of the season.
It looks like he's going to protect Elliot Evans, by the way. Elliot gets his goal, but it looks like he'll be getting taken off. And Dixon Cabango will be coming on for number 7, Elliot Evans.
Els won't be happy. You can tell him straight walking off there. He'll have a little pout about him. But Jenks again has got to save Elliot's legs. He's getting on now. He's got to recognise that. But that's an interesting substitution. I say personally, I'd be looking to protect Sam.
Dixon Cabango. Did you say he went to one of the greatest Welsh schools ever?
He did, Fitzallen in Cardiff.
What a school! What a school!
He was originally at Cardiff Met's academy as a youngster. Newport County came along and took him out of the Cardiff Met academy. And at the end of last season, it was decided by Newport County that he wasn't quite ready for the professional game, and he left. He's now joined Cardiff Met as a biomedical science student in September, and of course he's come into the football programme, which is fantastic for Cardiff Met.
Jones still working hard off the ball. Perry, tremendous from Perry, quick feet, just playing for pride now. Aberystwyth. McCarthy gets her before. Number 2 for Anthony Jenkins, Anthony Williams. Chris, is it important? Who is it to?
I believe he is from North Wales. I can't quite remember his name, but he will be important for Taff. You know,
you need it.
Taff's been an understudy, an assistant for a long. Guy Hanscom, sorry, apologies, Guy. But yeah, he works at the FAW, so Taff will know him from his role there. But it is important.
Early days when you're managing, absolutely. Chris.
Yeah, I've been an assistant myself. I was assistant in Aberystwyth to Alan Morgan, and you know what managers don't want are just assistants that nod their head and have complete compliance and obedience. You know, they want to be challenged, they want to be irritated, because otherwise there's no point in having an assistant, and that's what Anthony's assistant will need to do. He'll need to be challenging him over his subs and his shapes and the team selection.
$15 minutes left here at Park Avenue. Cardiff Met cruising 4-0. 3 goals from Sam Jones, 1 from Elliot Evans. And they just... Jenkins has to be a happy man. You said, you know, he sets his standards now, but coming to Aberystwyth against any team in the Welsh Premier, you go away from home, you get a 4-0 victory. That is a good result.
Yeah, Ryan will be pleased. He would have worked this week with his group of coaches, and what they put together over the course of the week has come to fruition. So that's really important. That's poor defending there from Emlyn Lewis. He's come 20 yards, lost the header. Just let Tom Price deal with that, and you sit in behind and deal with the second ball.
Set a consolation goal for the Seasiders. Craven does his job as the fullback, stops the cross getting in.
And that's all you can ask of Stedo there. He's put in a one-on-one situation. You ask him to defend the wide areas, and he's done that, and he's won himself a free kick in the process.
Michael Wilde got a goal last night for Connors Key. 39 years of age now, Michael Wilde. He won't be far away, I should imagine, again from the top.
No, he won't. You know,
top 4 or 5 goal scorers in the league.
Yeah, Wilde is he's a credit to himself to keep playing at 39 and at the level he does and the intensity he does. He's a handful for any defender. I've watched him and Emlyn Lewis over the years have some absolute mammoth battles, and he'll be there or thereabouts. Like I said, I watched them at the start of the season in the
great ball, Cavango. Great ball. Jones not giving up on it
in the NG Cup, and he was a threat that day to TNS's backline. He got his goal on that day, and he will be there or thereabouts.
Substitute left back's done really well for Aber Perry. He stopped the supply from the right hand side, apart from, of course, the goal from Elliot Evans, but he's worked his socks off since coming on, and he may have well edged his way into the team.
Well, I think he played last week, Jonah. I think
well,
and obviously Litchfield came back in this week. He didn't play last week. Alaric Jones coming on there for Cardiff Met centre half, so an interesting one there. Maybe Kyle could step into midfield, and yeah, that's what's going to. No, he's bringing Kyle off.
Haverfordwest last year for Alaric Jones.
Yeah, Alaric's an interesting one. You know, he's a third-year student at Cardiff Met, and it's only this year that he's decided he wanted to play. He stayed at. He's been at Carmarthen. He's been at Haverfordwest. So this year, in his final year, he's decided to play.
Kyle McCarthy, another assured performance today from Kyle McCarthy, as per usual for Cardiff Met.
Yeah, Mr. Consistency, Kyle. Like I say, he's the jewel in the crown there, and this will be good experience for Alaric to play alongside Emlyn Lewis.
The Met. Next fixture, the Met.
They're away to Carnarvon next week, which
great game.
Again,
great game. Could be game of the weekend.
It could be. You know, Connors Key were my bogey side as a manager at Cardiff Met. I couldn't manage to beat them. Ryan did that last week, and I could never seem to get one over on Carnarvon, other than in the playoffs. But hopefully Ryan will go there next week full of confidence from today's victory. I wouldn't say performance. I think the second half performance has been nowhere near as good as the first, and he'll look to get back, look to win next week as well.
Jack Thorne's plugged away in midfield, as he will.
Yeah, he always will in that midfield. He doesn't give up. He's never say die attitude out in there.
Superb. Long ball from Webb. That is where, if you're 4-0 ahead and your centre half has an unopposed header like that, that's where something is wrong.
I agree, but also I know the young lad in goal is new to the league, but his teammates and his manager would have told him keep it away from Emlyn Lewis at number 5. You know, Emlyn will head anything.
Keep it away, the magnet, the red-headed centre back. He'll head anything. Jones.
You've got two
It's his first
uncompromising centre-halves now at the back for Cardiff Met. You've got Alaric Jones and Emlyn Lewis, two bigs, 6'3", 6'4" centre-halves. Don't take much messing.
Jonathan Evans on the ball. Doesn't get his team a corner. You have to excuse any language on the microphone coming over there. Not very happy at all. Jonathan Evans.
It's frustrating as a player, but he knows that the referee or the official's not going to change his mind. It's been decided as a goal kick. It's a goal kick. He needs to get back into position.
We may get the replay on that any minute, and we can make a VAR. And there you are. The youngsters for Aberystwyth enjoying themselves. Great to see them all here with their tracksuits on. Fantastic. Who needs a Liverpool or Man United tracksuit when you can get an Aber one?
Absolutely. Yeah, of course. Just looking across to the Aberystwyth bench again, Craig Davis looks as he's going to be the next substitute for Aberystwyth. Craig can play at the top of the diamond. He can play up top. He's got some real pace. A good product from the Swansea City Academy. In his final year now at Cardiff Met. He's been unfortunate, Craig. He's had some interest. He's had some really good players in front of him.
Two substitutions, by the way. I think you've got your wish about giving everybody a game when you're 4-0 ahead. There's no better time. Craig Davis. Harry Owen taking his time to leave the field.
For the first time, I'm actually stuck to know who the number 22 is for Cardiff Met. Not often do I not know the numbers of Cardiff Met, but new lad has come in this year.
Harris Feltham.
I do apologise, Harris. I do know Harris. Harris is a holding midfielder. He was with us last year. Good player from England. Played at Cribs Causeway at the beginning of last season. And Cribs FC.
Well, he's getting Premier League experience now this afternoon. Tremendous to see. 10 minutes.
His debut last year was Connors Key away against Aaron Edwards, and it wasn't the best debut for him. 3
substitutes, or it looks like be careful because of the new substitute rule this year. By the way, we have spoken about it, everybody spoke about it, and you could lose points. You can allow 5 substitutes, 3 over 19, 2 under 19.
Yeah, it's the clubs have fallen foul of that in the MG Cup this year. And a couple of teams, Premier League teams even, have been penalised for it, have been withdrawn from the competition.
Absolutely.
And that's something myself and Ryan spoke about this year. This is where his assistants for me...
Chance? Oh, great effort.
This is where his assistants for me need to help Ryan here. When the subs are coming on, it's the intensity of the game, the emotions of the game. Ryan's wanting to make decisions, and all of a sudden it seems to me that Craig Davis doesn't look as if he's coming on now. And that's going to be frustrating for the players, going to be frustrating for Ryan.
Yeah, it could be, but like you said, you've got to get it right because you could be 4-0 ahead, and if you make a technical error, it costs you, the rule stipulates that you lose 3 points.
Absolutely, and those 3 points are crucial. You know, that could be the difference between top 6 and bottom 6. It could be the difference between relegation or not relegation. So it's really important that the management team get that right. But I also think it's a responsibility of the subs to recognise that as well.
Jones, Webb plays the sweeper's role and heads it out of play. 81 minutes on the clock, 4 goals to the goods. Cardiff Met, that's 6 goals without reply in their opening 2 games of the season, which adds to a League Cup victory in the MG Cup against Newtown. So 8 goals won against in 3 games. It's a positive beginning to Ryan Jenkins' tenure at the Met, Christian.
Yeah, fantastic. There was lots of question marks about Ryan, not because he's not a good enough coach, maybe at times is his experience, but he's certainly shown at the moment that what he's learnt over the years, he can apply his own brand of football and his own way of doing things, and he's shown that today.
Yeah, enjoy it while it lasts as well.
Absolutely, and I think that's the most important thing I've spoken with Ryan about. It's been a great start, but it's making sure that when you lose, you learn a lot more from losing than you do from winning.
Sgorio highlights on Monday evening at 9:30. Great time to have it on now on a Monday evening. Plenty of goals to look forward to, and repeated also on a Tuesday.
For Taff now, I think it's about damage limitations, not conceding another one. And for me, for Ryan and Cardiff Met, it's about keeping that clean sheet, but also no injuries now going into the fixture next week against Carnarvon.
Well, as you say, yourself, training will start as a positive. Your weekend is a positive. You're getting a 4-0 victory. You're at the top of the league. I mean, I can remember managing myself Chris, and you win on a Saturday evening, you're the first from round the paper shop on a Sunday morning, you get beat, you don't want to go to bed.
No, absolutely. It's less about the paper shops these days. It's like it's all online. That's where that's where they look. But for Ryan, I know what Ryan will do now on the way home on the bus. He'll sit down with Craig, he'll sit down with Elliot, they'll assess the strengths and the weaknesses of the day. And which was really pleased with me, Ryan was critical at half-time about defence in the first half, which is really important. He's not just accepting the fact that they're 3-0 ahead, and they'll do their due diligence on the way home, so when they arrive at training on Monday, a lot of work's already been done.
So, so he just won't knock off and have a genuine, like we talked about earlier on, bus ride and enjoy the bus ride.
I think, like I say about those bus journeys, they do a lot for you, but for the coaches, it's been able to put to bed today's game on the bus for that first 20 minutes that you get on it, get across the Llangwrig, and by then they would have assessed what's needed for next weekend, and they would have put plans in place for Monday for training, and then go into Thursday ready for Saturday's game against Carnarvon.
Ewan Rees has put in a good shift this afternoon for Aberystwyth. He just persevered all afternoon. Hasn't had much joy in there, but he's just kept going. Spirited performance from the young number 8.
It's been a tough afternoon for Aberystwyth. The quality of Cardiff Met's goals in the first half were second to none, and they haven't really responded to that, and so it's been tough for them. But again, as I keep stressing, this Cardiff Met starting 11, I think, is an impressive starting 11. A back four that has got quality all over it. They've got Cymru Premier League games in abundance. In midfield, they've got exactly the same. Probably where they're lacking the experience, I would argue, at Cardiff Met, is the front line. Lewis is only 19 and they've spent a lot of time at TNS, mostly in their reserves, and Sam hasn't always been a Cymru Premier League player. He's been functioning down in the Cymru South, which he's learned his trade there, which is important. So if there's anything where they lack the experience, it's up top, but they'll get that as the season unfolds.
Going back to the league in general, a 90th minute winner today for TNS. Everybody, I think, in the league just would have, if you're looking to get anywhere, if you're around Penabont, you're challenging Penabont, you're glad TNS have scored. But if you're going to get anywhere towards the title, the boys at the top, the Ballers maybe, and it would have been great to see TNS maybe start the season with only a point and, say, open it up a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. The 21 points they won it by last season, and you're looking, they didn't have a great performance or a result last week against Newtown. That's credit to Newtown. Rees will be really disappointed to have conceded so late on in the game, which is difficult for them. But as you say, if you're going to be in and around Penabont, you'll be top 6, and if you're going to be anywhere near TNS, you're going to be in European.
You're in the
squad.
hunt.
Yeah,
you're in the hunt. 3 European spots again this season, which is fantastic, and the Welsh Cup winner. Nice to have that back.
Yeah, absolutely.
An added bonus of £250,000 to one of these clubs.
That's the lifeblood for some of these
lifeblood.
clubs. Not
absolute lifeblood.
Not all Welsh Premier League clubs have the oligarchs to be supported with. So for some, it's good coaching, it's working hard on the training pitch for players, and you get your rewards that way.
Craven goes back to Jones. Jones just slots it inside to Price, who's been available all day.
An interesting one for me, Jonah, is in a couple of weeks' time, Cardiff Met will play Aberystwyth in the MG Cup, and it'd be interesting to see the approach from Aberystwyth that day, because I can remember last season when Cardiff Met ended up playing Barry Town, I think 6 times, and each time we approached it in the right way, but Barry maybe at times changed their approach, didn't play their strongest players. So I wonder if Taft goes that way, but for me it's a competition, the MG Cup, that clubs realistically can win. Cardiff Met have beat the 3 finals. Okay, they only won the 1, but it's an opportunity to put silverware in the cabinet.
You're talking about Premier League clubs, Chris, in the same vein. You get the like a Tottenham Hotspur, massive clubs. They haven't won a trophy for a long time, and they take stick. Trophies there's only 3 trophies to go for, right? So when teams say, I don't think I'll bother putting my best team out, I think that's just used to, that's a poor excuse sometimes. That trophy is there to be won by every team in this league. By the way, TNS are out.
Yeah, it's an interesting one for me, why clubs adopt that approach, having been in 3 MG Cup finals, 1 here against TNS where Cardiff Met lost 1-0, or the year that Cardiff Met won it against Cambrian, and then last season losing on penalties to Connah's Quay. So it's an opportunity for the so-called smaller clubs to get into finals.
It's a trophy.
And it's a trophy because outside of TNS, Bala, Connah's Quay, not many teams pick up trophies.
That's right. Malcolm Allen's man of the match is, of course, the hat-trick hero, Sam Jones. And superb hero. Look out for his goals on Monday evening on Sgorio. Poacher's goal, shall we say. Great finish, the first one. You know, I know he's on through one-on-one, but what a finish.
I like the second finish. I think the way he's made his run behind the defender, the ball into the box, and the way he's guided it home. The third,
brave.
That's brave. That shows intensity. It shows he's really hungry to score. But again, it's that knack and willingness to get across that defender.
Sam Jones, Cardiff Met, top of the JD Cymru Premier League. Sam Jones, top of the goal scoring charts. It's a double at the moment for the Met. Lewis, Rees, Jones, you're looking for a fourth. Webb again sweeps well. They competed well in the second period. Aberystwyth, like I said, they're a new team. The manager has a massive job on his hands. Aber, to their credit, have been in this league for 30 years. Only 2 teams have stayed in the league for 30 years. Aberystwyth are one of them, and I'm sure Anthony Williams will put up the fight to keep him in there. The bomb goes in the box, gets it across, hooked away.
When Cardiff Met first came into the league, it was always speaking about making sure if you're in and around Aberystwyth, you know you're going to be in and around the top 6. So they were the club to look at. So in recent years, possibly haven't done as well as they would have liked, and maybe at times they've struggled, but they've shown real real determination this second half, not to keel over and be beaten by even more goals. Should we say?
Great header away by Lewis, and again the substitute Perry does really well at left back.
Johnny, speaking about fullbacks having to stop crosses. For me, centre half, height and distance on the header, it always gives you an opportunity to clear your lines, particularly with the height and the distance. It gives people around you to be able to get themselves set, and that's exactly what Emily Lewis has done there.
Tremendous header away from the big man. There is Ryan Jenkins, his second game. By his side, Craig Anford. Job done, he says to Craig. Anford said, yeah, job done. Come on, Ryan. Give us a smile.
He won't smile. I think it's managing the expectations now for Cardiff Met. You know, they've won 3 games at the start of the season. It wasn't an easy start with Newtown in the MG Cup, then a home game against Connah's Quay, and any away trip to Aber is a tricky one. So it's going to be manage the expectations because players will look at it. Oh, we've won 3, and all of a sudden they become a little thinking they're a bit invincible, and they're not. So it's just about manage that expectations, and can they go to win the 4th game, the 5th game, the 6th game?
Kabongo just runs it out of play. 2 minutes added on, about 20 seconds left on the game. Thank you very much for this afternoon, Christian. Your knowledge of Cardiff Met was very welcome, and like you said at half time, I know you're looking to get back in the game at any time at all, so good luck with your job, and I hope you get a big victory with Wales again this season.
Well, hopefully I get invited back to Wales Sea again, so if I do, I'll look forward to that.
We're on the match and we're there. Thank you very much, Christian Edwards. Thank you very much for viewing this afternoon. It's a Sam Jones hat-trick and an Elliot Evans goal give Cardiff Met a comfortable 4-0 victory. Look out for the highlights on Sgorio on Monday evening.
Diolch yn fawr iawn I Nick a Malcolm. Dewch I ni gadarnhau canlyniadau'r penwythnos felly. A dyna canlyniadau'r penwythnos, gwedwch. Tipyn o berfformiad gan Met Caerdydd fan hyn. Rhaid canol y Flint hefyd. Nhw hefyd I chwarae 2 ac ennill 2. Pwy feddyliau falle mai y Flint a Met Caerdydd fydde'r 2 glwb, yr unig clybiau sy'n berffaith 100% ar hyn o bryd. Yn uwch Gyngred Cymru, JD, Emlyn Lewis. Y gwr lleol I raddau, os ydyn nhw'n mwynhau dynol fan hyn I chwarae, y Sgorio, mae'n trwm sy'n tymor diwetha. a Ryan Jenkins, mae'n siŵr bod e wrth i fod gyda'r perfformer, gyda'r canlyniad. Diolch i goliau gwr yma. Seren y gêm sydd gyda Nicky John.
Well, Sam, I think we can safely say that was the Sam Jones show, particularly in the first half there. You must be delighted.
Yeah, really happy, you know. It's been target mine to get more goals this season. Playing a lot more forward. So yeah, happy. To be fair, the second two couldn't really miss. It was on the money, so yeah, happy.
Do you have a favourite one?
I'll go third one, sorry. Header.
Third one.
Yeah, I do like a header, so...
Listen, we spoke to the manager beforehand about his desire maybe to set his own stamp on proceedings here at the club. Now, do you feel that that's happening? We've certainly seen you playing with a lot more fluidity and freedom, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely, I think. He's ingrained a lot of principles in pre-season. Working on keeping the ball fast tempo, you know, even when we're winning, not giving him any space, any time. I think we showed that today. So I think he's going to be pleased, yeah.
And 2 wins out of 2. Not a bad position to be in. Not conceded a goal either. An excellent start to the season.
Yeah, happy. But again, 2 games, you know, a lot to go. Tough game next week.
Well, what about that game at Cardiff next week? Do you fancy that one?
Yeah, you've got to fancy every game, I think. The start we've made, clean sheets as well. It's going to be a tough crowd. Really tough crowd. But I love playing up there. So looking forward to it.
Well, Sam, listen, you are the man of the match this afternoon. Seren y gêm, Sam Jones, llongyfarchiad y mawr.
Happy days, thank you, cheers.
Happy days yn wir. Y botel yn cael y bel hefyd, fel peli mae'n ddrud. Sa'n siŵr sy'n cyfyn gatre da'r bel i ddod mwy o bel Jones. Mae'n mynd yn ddifur, bala gatre, nefyn y dry newydd ar-lein. Nos Wener nesa, bala ddim di ennill eto. Mae wedi colli ar y sadwn agoriadol, pwynt pnawn yma. So mae rhaid i ddechrau gyda Sam Jones, Seren y sioe, fel wedodd Nicky John fan yna. Goliau gwych, a dde'n gweud, gen i weld nhw nawr, ond oedd e jyst rwy'n sôn am beth sydd wedi newid. Beth sy'n teimlo sydd wedi newid, achos mae'r chwaraewyr yn debyg, ond mae yna rhyw tweaks yn bendant, maen nhw'n edrych yn dîm gwahanol.
Ie, fi'n credu bod nhw'n mynd i chwarae pêl-drod lot mwy agoriadol, yn enwedig o dan y rheolwr newydd. Tempo, fel wedodd Sam Evans, is ennill y bêl nôl, ddim yn rhoi amser i dim un chwaraewr Aberystwyth ar y bêl. Felly, ar y foment, maen nhw'n edrych yn dda iawn. Y cwestiwn mawr yw pa mor dda oedd Met Caerdydd neu pa mor wael oedd Aberystwyth y pan yma. Ie,
a beth yw'r ateb? Ti'n siŵr?
Dwi ddim yn siŵr. Dwi'n meddwl bod angen i Aberystwyth cryfau o'r rhan y garfan. Fi'n credu bod Met Caerdydd yna, sy'n rhag o'r chwaraewr yn nhw, felly fydd hi'n anodd yr Aber i denu chwaraewyr yma, ond fi'n sicr fydden nhw eisiau un neu ddoi arall.
Ie, un o ddoi arall yn y goliau oedd Met eisiau, a thi'n beder yn yr ail hanner hefyd. Un o'r hen benne, Elliot Evans. Pam nhw ar ei gêm fel hyn? Ond yn heiddi peder?
Wel, dim yr ail hanner, dysyn nhw allan, ddim angen rhoi y trod ar y sbardyn. Elliot Evans yn lwcus gyda honna mynd mewn oddi ar amddiffynwr Aberystwyth. Yr unig beth lle wedi sgorio fyna, fysa wedi rhoi chip mewn i'r ochr arall, ond yn lwcus gyda'r amddiffynwr yn dod yn y ffordd.
Ie, mae'n trefiadol. Dros ben, mae'n gynnar, Sam Jones unan yn gweud fyna, dim ond 2 gêm sydd wedi bod, ond pan chi'n ennill y ddwy heb ildio, wel, fydd y clybu eraill yn byddai'n denu sylw pobl wedyn, na ni'n rhoi ddi fel na.
Wel, ydy, a beth byddai'n neud yw creu hyder o fewn y tîm, hyder o fewn y garfan, a fydden nhw ffili wito. Pyn ti'n ennill, ti ffili wito am y gêm nesaf, dyna'n union beth bydden nhw'n edrych mlaen i'r gêm na erbyn Caernarfon.
A beth sy'n hefyd, ni'n canmol yn sgorio, well ni canmol y gol geidwad, gan lang yr arbediad na nath mae'n edrych ar un o arbediadau y tymor hyd yn hyn, 2 gêm sydd wedi fynd, mae'n gynnar ar am arbediad.
Ie, wel, dyma adeg o'r gêm gath Aberystwyth bach o bwysau ar Met Caerdydd, a fe wedwn ni'n sylwi beth oedd angen i'w sgorio, oedd hon neu'r un gyda Darlington yn troi ar chwip o ergyd, ond fe neson nhw ddim, oedd angen nhw'n cael gol i ddod nôl mewn yn y gêm.
Ie, achos yw hyn yn dangos, yw Met yn edrych ar hanner ucha yn barod, maen nhw'n edrych o'r tîm sydd gyda'r gallu i gyrraedd na'n gyfforddus.
Wel, un o problemau Met blwyddyn diwetha, neu tymor diwetha, o sgorio golau. Aberystwyth yn yr un cwch, a edrych yn debyg bod nhw dal yn y cwch yna. Ond yn sicr, yn y ffordd mae Met Caerdydd wedi newid ar y ffordd maen nhw'n chwarae. Lot fel fan ni'n gweud, lot mwy agored, mwy attacking fel petai. Fi'n credu fydden nhw yn sicr yn y 6 ucha.
A dyn ni fod yn croesawu hynny. Mae yna lot o glyfiau sy'n ofni colli yn y trach na ceisio ennill gemau. Ni jyst mae'n gweld pobl yn chwarae pêl-droed positif, felly bydd pobl eisiau fynd i weld Met yn chwarae, sy'n cario ymlaen fel hyn.
Yn sicr, oedd hi ddim yn hawdd. Oedd y gwynt, newydodd yn y gwynt bod hi 2 yn ystod y gêm. Oedd hi ddim yn amodau hawdd iawn i chwarae pêl-drod, ond fe neson nhw trio cael ei lawr. Edrych